Welcome, everybody, to episode number 15 of the Dragon's Den podcast. My name is Eric Hopkins, a.k.a. JEL, and we're joined tonight by a bunch of different people here tonight. We got the regulars on here, Mr. and Mrs. Spooby, Captain Spooby, as a matter of fact. Brandon Miranda. We got Aaron down there in the bottom in the middle. We got Matt, who's muted himself apparently over there on the bottom right. And we got my good buddy Daniel Horton here on the far left on the bottom as well. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Tired.
True.
Yeah. I think we all feel that one for certain. So yeah, we had some interesting conversations going on before the show started with some of this stuff we've been talking about. We're going to get into a little bit later on too, when it comes to like some old stuff from back in the day, you know, some old stories that we've had as friends growing up. And, you know, me and Horton has known each other for a long time. What was that?
Somebody capping, boy. You hear that? Somebody let off quick ones.
Man, okay. Well.
Hi, Kathy.
What's going on, Kathy?
Oh, Kathy knows part of what I was talking about.
Yeah, Kathy, our fellow co-worker for sure. We're definitely going to be getting into some interesting stuff tonight. We got a little bit of movie news. We got some pro wrestling talk, a little bit of news and politics, but also a few things just kind of for fun as well, which we're going to be getting into. Before we get too started, I thought we'd wish everybody a happy 4th of July weekend. Yeah, two started, whatever.
Legit, brother.
Happy 4th of July and happy 4th of July weekend, I suppose, if some people are celebrating it. I know I am going to be going out of town tomorrow.
As Joe Biden said.
What did he say?
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Really?
Happy 4th of July. Yeah, he said that yesterday.
Oh, man, why didn't I hear about that? I want to find the video of that.
Hey, she showed me.
It's out there. I saw
thought
it.
she was bullshitting when she said it. I said, nah. And then she showed me. I said, ain't no way,
Hold
Mo.
on.
Ain't no way,
Go
Mo.
ahead. I want to look this up while you guys are talking, but I got to find it. I've not seen this.
Wait, what is this? What?
Hold on. I'll find it. If I find it, I'll let you know. It's got to be
Hey,
a little
man.
overreact.
Hey, he said, ho, ho, ho.
Okay,
Hey,
well, anyway.
Horton even said so. He said, the motherfucker said it.
Yeah, I
He don't
accidentally logged into Twitter, so yeah.
Oh.
He said that motherfucker said it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look. Okay, here we go. Yeah, look, listen.
And we give thanks to our commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, extraordinary president of the United States.
She couldn't get it out, bro.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
Happy Independence Day.
I think he was just talking about Kamala.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My man said, ho, ho, ho. Pause. He's like, wrong season.
Yeah.
Merry Easter.
Merry Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. Merry Thanksgiving. Happy tax day.
I just don't know where to start with.
That's wild, bro.
Oh, don't worry. We got plenty more to go before this show's over with.
That's wild.
We're going to get into a little bit of that. It has been a crazy week, especially in the world of politics, for sure. This guy for certain. So yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff. But
that shit happened.
So what were we talking about before the show started? We were talking about like
A lot of things.
yeah,
Music.
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Me and Brandon had a disagreement.
Oh yeah.
Disagree. Everybody, listen to me. You see these 4 panels, okay? We're all in agreement. Because we grew up in a cooler time than you fucking did. And that's on you. Y'all should have got out more in this.
Facts.
Bro, when I tell you when summer hit when I was a kid, I disappeared. I just when I left the house, who knows where the fuck I was going? Because I was gone.
I had a hard time doing that.
Bro, really? Nah.
I grew up on a 4-lane highway. It's kind of hard to
Well,
disappear.
you can't just
Well, it was
disappear.
2-lane for a long time.
Nah, I
there,
didn't be
but, yeah.
Still.
But
Yeah.
I didn't spend time in the house. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have, I guess, because technology wasn't where it is. And that's another thing you'll see in that whole thing I sent you earlier, too. It talks about that. But, like,
we went outside.
Went outside, dude. And I had this conversation before.
We walked everywhere.
Do y'all remember
Uphill
those
in the
big
snow.
green fucking transformer boxes that were just sitting outside of apartment buildings or whatever? They hummed. I know that. And you would just sit on it. Don't know what could have been going on. You could have been getting some kind of radiation. That was the meetup spot. That's where you just went.
Yeah, we're gonna be entitled to financial compensation when
There's gonna be a quiet ass commercial about that 2 years from now.
Were you a 90s kid sitting standing around the green box?
Yeah. Dude,
I grew up in the 80s, so
like
yeah.
Like 2 years? Come on now.
All right, that don't even
No,
count.
I was
Bro.
born in the end of 81. I literally had about 8 years
That's
still
right.
in the 80s. Yeah, mostly
I
80s,
mean,
early
yeah,
90s. Yeah.
but all the cool shit was already done with by the time you were, you know what I'm saying? Like you was there for some of the fashion shit. I remember the old boat, like the short ass shorts. There's a picture of me.
We don't need to see that.
Hey, fuck off.
No,
First of
we
all,
do not.
I was a scrawny, skinny ass kid. I seen the picture. I didn't recognize my damn self. I said, "Who that?"
I mean, like this?
Yeah,
Oh man.
with the boat shoes, with the hey dudes before they were hey dudes.
Yeah, me and Kathy. Yeah, right there.
And yeah, but I was talking to Kathy about it. So like, we grew up and like I said, like when we went outside, you wasn't going back in the house because if you went back in the house, your ass wasn't coming back outside because you ain't gonna keep running in and out of her house, and you ain't gonna let her air out because she ain't trying to cool off all outside or heat up all outside. I don't know how she was gonna do that any damn way with me opening the door for 30 seconds. Is what it is.
Right.
Like when you outside and you was thirsty, you drank out of a hose. You know how many times I stood on the side of but you can't get that first
about trouble
in the summertime.
goods.
When you turn that on, you can't get that first drink because that water gonna be hot. That's gonna be hot
Oh,
water.
God,
That's hose water. You gotta wait till the air come out and they go and then you
How'd that go again?
we look like fucking animals.
Like he's
we was outside.
really good at that.
You
Hey,
need
bro.
that. Yeah, you need that.
He's used to
soundbite
sucking out of a
going.
Wow.
Where's the
Hey,
soundbite?
Hey, you gotta get gas somehow, brother.
The soundboard will go.
Especially with these prices. Holy crap.
And
Damn.
I remember we used to go to the gas station, $5. You fill up your tank. You just throw it in there. And you ride. We used to ride. I remember when Dev got his license, it was curtains. We was
Cruising around town was one of our favorite pastimes in high school.
Oh God, yeah.
See,
Hell
Brandon,
yeah.
I didn't grow up in a time when you could do that.
What? We made time.
I mean, you could
Yeah,
go
boss, we
places.
We didn't either, but you know what? We
I
just
mean-
ran away from those mall cops.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, like we would be in one spot, the cops would run us off, we'd go to another.
Yep.
Just to piss them off.
Yep.
Yep.
Then
You
they
know
tried
how
to
many
chase us and we'd haul ass. Yeah.
You know how many
Yep.
times
I
it
grew
was?
I grew up when I could go wherever I wanted to, but my parents at least wanted to know where I was going and what time
Well,
I'd be
so
back.
did mine, but
I'm
we
not
still did it.
saying my mom didn't. Look, when we left, there was a group of people. My mom knew all of the friends I hung out with, and then in return, she knew every last one of their mothers and or father. So at any given point in time, if I said I was going to so and so's house, please believe there was a phone call that was made before I got there, just to say, "Hey,
I never had that.
Let me know when
That
you
I'm
make
aware
it there. Let me know." Yeah, you wouldn't, but she always knew where you was at. So I remember one time we got chased out of the park. Now we know we weren't supposed to be in the park. It was after dark. Just to leave to go to another party for the cops to be called for that same cop who chased us out of there to come over and go, "I thought I said I didn't want to see y'all again today." Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we heard you. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see you this second time either, to be honest.
All of y'all
You
grew
just
up
got
in
lucky.
Indiana.
Yeah. Well, Kathy commented that the water hose and streetlights were not a joke. It was a way of life. Born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, cruising and video stores. Video stores, I really wish were still a thing. That was our weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the
My
time.
wife says that all the time, Eric.
So
Be kind, please rewind.
One of my favorite childhood memories was my stepdad. Every Friday we would go to, it's not Blockbuster, it was like a family-owned kind of like small time
family video.
Oh yeah, we had a few of those around town. Yep.
And he would always rent those cheesy ass martial arts movies because that's what he
paused for a second. I thought he rented those X-rated things.
Nah, I knew what that section was though. It was clearly that. But he would always rent those, those cheesy ass karate movies. Now he was huge into westerns too, so he would love to watch those. So like I grew up on Fridays. I'd go home, get off of school. We would go to Little Caesars, pick up a pizza, and then he would pick up his grandkids would be my cousins, and they would come to the house, and that's what we would do. We would watch these shitty ass karate movies. That's where my love of Bruce Lee came from, because I was watching these movies.
The really bad dubbed version where they're like,
on some.
Yeah. I'm going to kick you in the face right now.
I fucking loved them. You know what I mean? Like I was all in. That was my Fridays. And then family nights where we watched, you know, that and again, it's in that video I sent you, that block that came on Friday nights too of sitcoms. There was, I'm not gonna give it away or see if y'all can remember when he but like there was a block of sitcoms, family sitcoms that you would watch on Friday.
Yeah, TGIF.
Yeah, TGI. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
On
you
ABC.
knew there was 4 of them.
Full
And they
House,
came on back.
Family Matters, Step by Step, and I couldn't tell you the other one.
Home Improvement.
What's Home Improvement? I knew they
Home
had like
Improvement.
I don't know about that one.
I watched.
I
Home
think it was
Improvement.
Tuesdays.
Was
Yeah.
it Tuesdays Home
I
Improvement?
thought so. I could
Might
be
be.
wrong though.
TGF.
Dan,
I had really screwed up family nights though.
you
Like
all
Joe can
grew up in
attest to
Indiana,
this.
right?
Wait, what?
What?
In Indiana? Yeah.
Everybody grew up in Indiana.
Except
you
for Brandon.
guys all know that one annoying neighbor that you have that shoots fireworks off until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you got one
That
right
is
now.
that annoying neighbor that you guys are hearing in the background.
Brett,
As a kid, I was that annoying neighbor.
Horton knows
I'm
a
just
neighbor, or
saying.
he is that neighbor.
Yeah,
Dan
yeah.
is the annoying neighbor.
Confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
But, like,
everybody in America has that one neighbor.
There was a guy, you think it's bad. We had a guy who lived, so like we stayed on the corner house, right? So Sue lived in right here, and then they lived in the house next door to that. He had this little cannon. It was a cannon, probably like, I don't know, probably like
Hell yeah.
this big or whatever. And he would fire that bitch off on the floor. And for something so small, that bitch was loud, bro. Like,
nice. I just remember using.
I'm actually kind of aggravated. I'm actually kind of annoyed with 4th of July this year, not because like people are shooting fireworks off, but I'm stuck on base and I can't see any of them.
That's trash.
So
I understand.
Yeah, it's kind of pissing
that's
me off.
trash. Bro,
I understand that.
Like 4th of July was mad different then too, because like I remember we in the middle of the street, like bottle rockets, jumping jacks, you know, Roman candles. There's something you can't even do that shit in some places now. Like you're not allowed to do it. Blows my fucking mind. Like I remember going out to the country and taking M80s and throwing them bitches off. Like
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I wish we had cell
We
phones
had,
back when we were doing the. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say bottle rockets to the face.
Oh
Brandon.
my god! So we had this. You remember like the big bricks of bottle rockets you can buy. They just sit. There's like a box essentially, right?
So little Saturn missiles.
Yeah. So we may have been drinking. That's neither here nor there. We had set this thing up at the end of our driveway, right? We lit it, and it starts to go off, and it's awesome. All of a sudden, the box tips towards us.
Oh no!
And this chick that was at the house with us, she took a bottle. I mean, right to the face. She didn't
She's
spill
okay.
her drink though. She got up. Nope. She was like, "I'm good. I'm good." Didn't spill her drink.
But did you die? Yeah.
Nah. The shots went off behind the house, in front of the house. It was pandemonium. That shit was mad fun though.
I wish when they had cell phones back when we were kind of in high school and stuff, they were just kind of starting to become a thing.
I'm glad
and
we didn't.
We bought like packages of bottle rockets, lined them up all the way across the porch, and our buddy Jeremy had a blowtorch, and we just go down the line and lighten the whole thing off. It was
cackling
hilarious
the whole time.
Yeah,
Roman
just laughing
candle
his
fights.
ass off.
Y'all have Roman candle
Oh
fights?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Looking like something out of Harry Potter.
Bro, bottle rocket fights. I got shot in the neck, and it got stuck in between.
Never done that.
And I went to pull it out, and as I pulled it out, the fucker exploded right here. Hey.
So that's why Brandon can't hear out of his right ear.
No, that's a totally separate issue.
What was the name of the guy
Okay,
in the
we'll talk about that
wheelchair
later.
on X that used to light those fireworks and would roll away slowly? Do you remember that?
Oh
guy's
yeah,
name?
I seen that video. He was like, "Get away!" What is that? What was his name? Willie?
Come on, Terry.
Get
Get in reverse, Terry.
Terry. Yeah.
Oh,
the only reason I ask is because this is our buddy Jeremy to a T. Okay, that's the only reason I'm going to pull this up. This is him every single time because he was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
This is.
But Jeremy's chair was functional. He just didn't care.
Yeah,
that's true too. He would just slowly roll away.
So you take one of those with a bigger brick, is what we had.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very good,
Got it, Terry.
Bag up, bag up.
Well, sometimes it would malfunction like that too, a little bit, but
Well, yeah.
loud, Terry.
Terry.
I mean, and at that point, see how he's kind of smiling? That would be our buddy Jeremy going,
Yeah.
the whole time.
Bro,
That was funny.
Man, we used to this shit. Like I said, like when we was talking about this shit earlier, I'm surprised we made it through the shit that we did. Because, like I mentioned to you earlier, I started wrestling because I saw a documentary about wrestling. The whole documentary was meant to detour everybody else from doing the shit that these kids were doing because they were putting themselves in wheelchair. They were real. I mean, they were disfiguring themselves. This, that, and third. We saw that shit and was like, we could do it.
In the 70s? Really?
Poor Kathy just had the little sparklers.
Damn, Kathy.
Oh,
They had
man.
better stuff than that in the 70s.
Cheated.
We had half stick dynamite, bro. We blew shit
They
up.
had some M80s. And
And we
some
got
other
those
stuff.
mortar shells, basically. I mean,
Oh.
geez, you know, yeah. Until they fell over and they shot at the car or something like that. You know.
Yeah, minor details.
So
Yeah,
one
yeah.
time
Oh, sorry, Aaron.
there was
Minor
there was
No, you're
there was a bottle rocket that may or may not have hit somebody else's window and exploded. I can neither confirm nor deny that happened.
Confirmed or denied.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
surprised you guys
confirm
didn't go to jail.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, I never
that
ended
took
up in
place.
jail. That's for sure. But
Bro.
I think Jeremy had a few brushes with the law a few times. But I don't think.
But you know,
that was
that was the advantage of having me around, is because I had a radio with the police channel in it.
There you go.
I had
see,
friends
you
like
could kinda-
that later
Yeah, I'm about to say
on.
I knew friends who had CB radios. Don't worry about why they had them, but they had them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got one right now.
Yeah, you now, but yeah, you know,
Yeah.
they had them for
They had 'em.
various reasons, situations.
Did you turn it off? Here, can I help you?
But no, a lot of this talk kind of started with Brandon basically telling Matt how his music sucked.
It did.
His
The music is
generation.
trash.
Or the new generation.
Name
Hold
me
on.
an artist that has come out
It's
like legit. Probably
But
what
Brandon,
let's say.
the stuff I listen to is new.
But you're getting music from people who grew up when we grew up.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
That's different from a 20-year-old now and their music now. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It doesn't have the same impact that it did then. Like R&B back then still was coming off the soulfulness of what the 80s R&B was. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So when
That
you
was
had-
getting laid music.
That was like 2007.
Listen to me.
Am I
There's-
wrong?
No.
There's still certain songs like okay, I'll put it. Genuine is one of them. There's certain like I can't listen to certain artists because like my mom, she told me some of the shit that she was into while she was listening to this music. I found out
Justin
I'm a
Timberlake.
project. I found out I'm a product of Keith Sweat. I don't even like Keith Sweat no more. I can't.
I don't even know who that is.
I hear nobody and start
But
shivering. I'll be like,
Brandon,
oh,
what happened to Juice WRLD?
Gerald Levert. Nah, bro.
Brandon, but Juice WRLD.
Yeah, Juice WRLD was an old soul trapped in a new age body. His
Yeah, and
music
look-
stemmed from
Yeah, and then he
His
got
love
caught
of-
with the marijuana charges, and now he's nothing.
I mean, that's
Good.
poor life choices.
So I'm just saying,
But his
this
music,
generation has everything handed to them. I understand what Brandon's saying. This generation has everything handed to them, and their choice in music is horrible, right?
because it's this quick pop shit. Like
Yeah,
A lot of times they're not even singing;
I
they're
know
just
what you're
kind of
saying.
saying
It's-
stuff.
that's what I'm saying. It's more or less now made for shorts and shit. TikTok. You know how Naya knows a lot of songs that she ended up finding out about? It's because of TikTok. But a lot of it is Jaden surprises me because Jaden, now granted, Jaden grew up in a time where like me and Miranda, we still listen to music from the 90s. Where his love or where he found Black Sabbath or Ozzy or AC/DC, Metallica, shit like that. Yeah, it was shit that we
Or
listened to.
smooth jazz.
Or smooth jazz.
Yeah, my brother.
First of all,
Hey,
I love smooth jazz.
easy.
Okay, I love blues music, but that's a part of me that like Jaden maybe heard me listen to that shit like maybe
I
once
like
or twice.
country, like.
But that's his
bluegrass.
version of music. Like I remember one day we was in the car going down to the pumpkin patch, right? And he asked Miranda to play
You didn't have your little blankie with you, did you, Linus?
Crazy Train.
the Crazy Train and Black Betty. I looked at him like, where the fuck did you hear these
Black
songs
Betty's
at?
a great
Hell
song.
yeah.
We was jamming, bro.
You
I
just
said, where
called-
you listen to this shit at? And he's like, I don't know, I found it and just that's what he gravitated to. So Jaden listens to old rock music, but not with
Hell
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where he's at with his music selection. Now, don't get me wrong, he does have some memey shit that he finds funny, but if he's gonna listen to music, you walk in that kid's room, occasionally you might hear him listen to some AC/DC, Metallica, but that's where his vibe is. You know what I mean? And smooth jazz threw me off altogether because I'm like, but you listen to smooth, yeah, he just be vibing out. I get it.
I think it's
That's
a
Dude,
why
as
Put on
country,
at the
as country as I am, I love Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Frank. That's
bro,
for sure.
I probably told y'all this 100 times before, but like when
I
I grew up, my mom and my stepdad had this big ass record player downstairs in the dining room, right? And every Saturday morning, you would either hear anything from Elvis to George
Clinton.
Carmichael?
George Clinton to Patti LaBelle, Gerald Levert, Frank Sinatra. My stepdad was a huge Rat Pack fan too.
Hell yeah.
Rat Pack, good.
I know Eddie Murphy had a record. Okay, I listened to Party all the time as a kid. I didn't know he had a whole fucking record.
Mhm.
So when I would wake up, bro, like there's no telling what I heard. What is he barking at?
It was like music roulette.
He's rocking out, man.
Yeah.
Let him go.
It was. I grew up in a very
his distaste in your 80s music.
Hey, Motown was the
That's
shit.
that
Right? I
low-key.
don't
He's
want to hear
agreeing
that from
with you
you.
back there.
That's Motown was music back then. You know, Whitney Houston. One of my mom's, two of my mom's favorite female artists, and one of them to this day I still listen to, Mary J. Blige. She loved Mary J. So like I grew up listening to shit like this. So it was only through me passing this on somewhat to my kids. I still have my mom's notebook of all her songs that I had burned on CDs for her because she didn't know how that shit worked back in the day. And that's another thing. You motherfuckers got that shit easy now. We're ripping off fucking songs and shit. Y'all don't know the struggle of Napster. Y'all know the struggle of fucking LimeWire. You download
Oh my
movie.
God, LimeWire.
How many times did Jordan have to fix your computer,
Dial-up
Gil?
internet.
I don't think very often, actually.
over
Eric,
dial-up
Now,
internet.
Jeremy's, he fixed all the damn time.
Well,
You
yeah,
catch a
but that was other
random
reasons.
virus.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
I see where you're going with that.
You download.
Yeah.
You spend 6 hours downloading 6 songs just to find out they're in French.
Hell,
or-
with dial-up internet, it took 6 hours just to download up one photograph.
Oh
I mean,
my
let alone
God.
a
Now
freaking
you're
movie
not talking
trailer.
to me, right, Brandon?
Bunch of spoiled ass fucking kids.
Yeah, well, y'all get that instant gratification. That's why we're more
Yeah.
patient because we had to be, okay? You know,
We didn't have a choice.
yeah. Like,
When you made a mixtape, that's what I said. I said it, mixtape. Do you know how many times you hovered over? Because a lot of times you had to get it off the radio. So you
Yeah.
would call in and request a song, and your ass is sitting in front of your radio, one hand over the record button, and the other hand over the play button. And you got to time that bitch just right when the disc jockey stop talking and you hit that button so you can get that Hot 97 so you can play it this summer. And then you had to stop it.
That's what's going on right now. Yeah.
yeah.
Accurate representation.
Get off
You
my
can't-
lawn.
You kids don't know
my
shit
yard.
about free nights and weekends on the cell phone. Fam, if you call me before 7 o'clock, I'm hanging up on you on God. I'm not about to waste my minutes with your bullshit. Call me
Yeah.
after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. The cell phone, my first cell phone was like that wide, about that tall with an antenna You know, it was like really bulky,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
in the,
the
like
brick-
the yellow Game Boy screen. You know,
I found my old Nokia phone the other day.
Bro, you got a Nokia?
I bet it works.
I got to find a charger. I
With
cannot
brick
find a
breaker on
charger
it?
for it.
Did it have brick breaker
Probably.
or worm?
Breaker.
Them was the games back
I-
then, bro.
Brandon, I have an
The old-
iPod,
The old prepaid
like the
prepaid
original
track
iPod.
phone Nokia.
Nice.
I hate you. He said I got an iPod.
I got a little iPod.
You remember those the first version of iPods? They weren't
The
called
little
iPods. They were
nanos?
called no, Matt.
Yes.
The fuck were they called? Zumas? The
I don't guess I remember that one.
fuck
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like iPod. Hold on. I have to pull
Like
it up.
iPhone ones.
Zooms.
Shut up.
A
Zune?
Zune, like in Guardians of
Zune.
the Galaxy. Yeah, Zune.
Hold on. Yeah.
Zune, I think. Is that how you pronounce it?
Aaron, are you getting all this?
What?
Yeah, you youngins, getting all this.
Are you're part of this?
Hey,
too. Yeah.
I might be the youngest one in this group, but yeah,
No,
I
Matt is.
dabbled in LimeWire, and I
You talking about this, Brandon? A Zune?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, is that too?
Oh shit! I had one of them.
They didn't have a screen like that. They were just like this. They looked like. Hold on.
This may be a little more up to date than the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I had something similar. It may not have been that exact one, but I think I had something similar.
I'm just so glad it's all on the cell phone now. You ain't gotta have it.
I know you ain't got to worry about none of that shit. now.
Right.
We used to have. We used to come with equipment. Okay. You understand? You remember when you got a CD player with a bass boost and the skip protection?
Yeah.
Skip protection.
Yeah, which never worked.
Turn the bass boost on because
He's really
if
wanting to
you
get his
turn the
point
bass
across
boost
on
on,
it.
it would kill your battery.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah. It wasn't fun unless you had to get the charge in order to get home.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? So
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you remember the
And then you had the cassette adapter.
Yeah. Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
I've unlocked some core memories here.
Bro,
yeah,
y'all
we're
trash.
old. She.
I remember. I
Yeah,
was talking
see?
to-
Oh yeah,
was-
I'm getting a little gray in the thing.
I was
too.
talking to Todd the other
You
day.
still have hair.
About remember CD
For
decks
now.
and shit. You remember when Kenwood and Pioneer how they had the removable fucking CD
Mhm.
faces? We learned how to wire radios in cars.
Yep.
80s music period is the best.
Is that
Yeah.
all you learned how to do in the car?
Bruh.
Well, we put neon lights on our cars, and
Hey,
you
Matt,
put the sound system in
don't
there.
worry about all that. Bro, we learned
I
how
found some of my old neons the other day too.
Oh,
You-
nice.
Yo, you doing the most, right? I bet you I still know how to wire radio and amp and speaker system in somebody's car.
I need a
said
refresher
once-
course.
Yeah.
Once,
As long as
Yeah.
it's not this new shit. Good luck with
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
A few years ago, I wired one up in a semi.
bruh.
Oh, yeah.
It was when I was working with Dad.
You wired
I
it up in
had-
a semi?
Yeah, a guy got a new truck and he wanted to swap out the radios in it, so they bought the kit and they had to
Yeah.
get it in.
There's a fucking kit you had to buy. Because if you didn't,
Yeah.
you took either the two pieces of small wood or some rolled up paper and you shove it in the sides so it fit in there snug so it didn't bounce up. Bro, y'all try.
Yeah. Otherwise, you get that
Yeah.
every time the bass hit.
Bro.
Oh my god, it's terrible stuff.
Well, and then you knew people who had the shitty ass who just put speakers in their car. So when the bass would hit, the truck would just rumble. So it sounded like ass on the outside.
Oh yeah.
Just you're like, yo,
Jeremy had those 15s in that old Holiday 88. Remember that?
Yeah, it was like a whole boat of a car. The most
My
most expensive thing on the car was the speakers.
Yeah.
Sure.
I had a partner. He had a Caprice. He had a T-box. He had 4 15s in the back of this thing. Wally's car, his Caprice. That motherfucker knocked, boy. I had 2 kicker 12s for
I
the
had some
longest
10s. I
time.
don't think I ever got 12s.
Bro,
But I had
we
a
used to
little car.
ride heavy, bro.
I had a sport track.
I rode in a Dodge Spirit, Matt.
The awkward silence after he said that. It's absolutely gold.
SUV with a birth defect. So don't even go there with me.
Matt,
Got
we
that
did
little
pimping.
itty bitty trunk.
We did pimping in a Dodge Spirit, Matt. I don't think you realize.
Hey man, when you're in high school or whatever, you got to make do with what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I was there. Trust me.
I mean, but that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have that so you appreciate
I
it.
was a survivor.
See, Miranda,
Others
we met
didn't
right after
survive in high school.
the minivan phase with Devin. We finally got rid of
You
that
and
blue
Miranda
fucking
survived the
minivan.
minivan.
No, because I got with Miranda and we had a minivan.
I'm just
My mom
staring
had
at my neighbor every time he shoots off the bloody fireworks. Between them and the race cars down the road.
Man, we used
Dude, I don't want to hear shit out of anybody. I had a 78 Pinto wagon as my first car.
I outran it on foot in a high school parking lot.
He did.
I don't remember
That
the
was a
year. I think it was
fat
an 85. I think I had an 85 Buick Skyhawk, and the stupid horn had a short in it. So every time I turned, it would honk.
Dan, did it run?
Yeah, after you.
Oh yeah, it ran.
It
Yeah.
ran? Okay.
After you primed it.
So,
No, I had
this.
it had a manual choke on it. Thank you very much.
That's what. It
Oh
was. Yeah.
my God, it's
My
beautiful.
first
What we
car.
talking about? Choking?
Okay. My first car would
Yeah,
have
there
been
was one time I thought I heard it say "Harder, Daddy."
What? No.
the fuck is he barking at now? My first car would have been a Chevette. It was a 5-speed, my stepdad's. And he had a 5-speed, but only 3 gears worked in that bitch.
Kathy had a Pinto too.
He was
There you
teaching
go.
me how to drive this motherfucker, but you couldn't shift it in the second, so you had to go from first to third. So
Oh.
Did it just not have second, or
it ground out? It was bad. Like you hit second gear, it just
synchronizers were shot?
that would have been my first car. But I said, "Nah, I'm good, champ. This is your car." I bought my first car was an '88 Cavalier.
Okay.
No, it was a Pontiac. Yeah, it was a Pontiac. Not Sunfire.
Sunbird, wasn't it?
Sunbird GT. That was the first car that I bought. Was a Sunbird GT, and then I wrecked that motherfucker.
Sounds familiar.
Until you have an AMC Eagle 4x4 station wagon / hatchback that will not shut off when you turn the car off and overheats in the drive-through window, I don't want to hear it.
Man,
Struggling, big dog.
that's about as American as you get.
You
right
was
there.
struggling, big dog.
Hey, I got both those cars for free though, so what can I say? But I ended up getting a '94 Cavalier. Was the first car I actually paid half on, so that was actually
Okay.
cool. I liked it.
I used to love Cavaliers.
Kathy said her Pinto was a '78 Pinto.
Oh, it's 78 Pinto.
Yeah. So
Damn, we used to ride, dude. But we used to go everywhere. We used to ride till the wheels fell off of that motherfucker. Even though I didn't have a license at the time, and
made her cry apparently.
I remember one night I really wanted to take the car out, and my stepdad was like, "You can't take the car out because you ain't got no license right now." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So they went to bed, and
It's
me
okay,
and my
Matt.
partner Richard, I took the keys. We pushed the car out the driveway, and since we lived on the corner, I couldn't start it right there because her bedroom was right here. So we pushed it up a block, and then we got in the car. And we took off. On the way back, I killed the engine a block away from the house, and we coasted all the way down to my street. Then we pushed the car back in the garage. I'm thinking we home free. Boy, I get in that house, go through the slide glass door, around the corner, and I see the glint from the moon off her glasses, and I went, "Shit."
Wah, wah.
She was like, "Where you been?"
You
Yeah,
don't.
just don't even ask.
She goes, "Give me the keys." I didn't see that car for like 3 months. I was like, "Nah."
Hey, what did we learn?
Huh?
What did we learn?
Make sure she
The
sleep
hard
first.
way.
Yeah.
Make sure she sleep good first.
No, I didn't say how we learned. I said what did we learn?
We already know how we know how we learned. This time, what did we learn from it?
Wait till she was really asleep before I left the house again.
Yeah. Be quiet on the return.
I got caught skipping by my father when I was a senior. And the way I got caught skipping, I had to go to one shop class, and I was really bored, and I wanted to go home because I knew it wasn't going to be worth anything. Well, by the time I realized I was driving home, I got a phone call from my father. And at that point, I had realized that my father was right behind me. And the exact words out of my father was, "Your mom wants to talk to you." And I knew when he said that, I was like, "Oh, my life is over."
La, 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 you're screwed.
Yeah.
I went home and I knew I was going to get it later on that night. So I just went home and I just went up in my bedroom and just sat and just thought, oh, what's it going to be? The soap in the mouth, the guillotine, you know,
Guillotine.
the grounding.
It was a little extra at your house, wasn't it?
Hey.
What was going to be the hide on the wall? Anyways, I come in the room and Mom goes, "So what went through your mind when you thought?"
I don't know why
you
that
could get
question
away
was
with
asked.
that? And the only thing out of my dad's mouth was, "Well, it was a shop class. It was boring." And my mom gave my dad the look like, "You are not in this conversation."
That's when you're the dad. You're just like, you got it, honey.
For it.
I remember, I can tell you the time I got grounded a whole summer. And when I tell you a whole summer, I mean a whole fucking summer. I mean, my ass did not leave my room for a whole summer. My report card came in, I had forgot about it. And that's when my mom found out that I was not in school for half of the school year. And that's because I would go to first period long enough to take attendance and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
If people who did that.
Until they stopped taking attendance just in first period. They would take attendance every period after that. So my mom saw that my ass was there because I got counted in the morning. But after that, so she politely came to my room. She had the report card in her hand. I knew it was curtains when I seen it. I was like, shit, I forgot all about that. She goes, "Where you going?" I said, "Well, I was about to go.
Nowhere.
I was about to go outside." She goes, "Yeah, you was about to."
Think again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
would.
what's your new plan? And I'm like, "It's summer." She goes, No, you're right, it is summer. But what you about to do is sit your ass in this room and reflect on this. And she showed me that card, which I already knew what it was. I was like, damn. She says, "You ain't leaving this room until I can figure out what to do with you." I'm like, okay.
Oh.
She never came back in my damn room. That was just the end of it. She said, like, "I need to figure out what to do with you." And she figured it out. And that was me sitting there a whole fucking summer. I had to watch in my bedroom. You see all the kids outside playing and shit. I had a front row seat to that. Couldn't do shit.
Ouch.
Until one day my mom left to go do some shit. And my stepdad, he had enough of me being in the house. He said, "She gonna be gone for 4 hours. If you ain't back here by the time she get here, and she asked me where you are, I'm gonna tell her I was asleep. I have no idea. You on your own." I said, "All right." I went outside for 2 hours, took my ass back in the house long before she came home. I said, "I'm not risking it." I'm not risking it. I told everybody who saw me, "You did not see me out here. You understand me? This never happened."
I guess I was really blessed because I mean I never really had any issues or anything. Like my parents, of course I had a job and I was on the fire department when I was 16. So, you know, it wasn't nothing for me to go bailing out the door, 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. But most of the time it was like, if you come home late, that's fine. Just don't wake us up. But I was never out late because, and if I was, I just stayed at JEL's house or Jeremy's house or wherever,
No,
Yeah,
for
Jeremy's
me, it
house,
was-
you get more trouble than my house for sure.
Oh, guaranteed.
No, for me it was.
But how many times did we crash there though?
It was mostly at Jeremy's, probably. I think.
Right.
Yeah. Because we knew we could get away with more things there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we always everybody I think had that one friend where you just go over his house and it was what it was. Like it wasn't that I was
That was
like
my house, though.
always.
That was Mason's house.
Yeah, that was Sue's house for me. Like that's where I went around and
He's a
I did
preacher
whatever I
now.
wanted to over there. But it was always, I did more over there than I did at home because Bobby had, he had a Nintendo, a Sega, a 64. Like I had one of two, at any point in time, but he had all of them. You know what I mean? So like at his crib, it was just way more shit to do. He had the 4-wheelers and shit like that. So like, I spent most of my time at his crib. But like, when I got in trouble and shit, it was because I was bored. Like, it wasn't nothing. There was shit to do, but it was all outside. So like in the summertime, if we weren't hitting the trails, we was going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? The Y or the rec room or the rec center or shit like that. I had at 16, I had a job working down at the rec center, teaching other kids how to use Word and do fucking PowerPoint presentations and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was summer, but I made money. So like,
well, yeah, I mowed yards.
That mowing yard shit, bro.
I'm moving furniture for an auctioneer. That's my first job.
Hell, I baled hay first. That was the worst time.
I heard that's a job.
Bro.
That's fun.
Sure.
Dude, I put up hay in 6th grade and I made like $36 for like 3 hours.
Baling hay was for the
that was good.
Like, I roofed because my uncle, that was punishment though. Like anytime we got in the real shit, my mom would send me go work, or any of the boys, we got in trouble, we would go work with our uncle for a summer, roofing. And he was
screw that.
And like
I've done that before.
Whoa. As a teenager, hated it. But it was always a lesson and shit. But like I said, like now, there's no repercussions for certain shit. Like back when I was young,
and it ain't cocky if you could back it up, as Kid Rock once said.
Yeah,
right.
But we just did shit though. Like,
yeah.
Like I said, he talks about one of the things, like I said in that video, where and it's like when he said it, I just immediately started laughing because it was like, yeah, I can relate.
You talking about that comedian?
Yeah.
Well, since you're already on it, let's just go ahead and show it. There was a video that Brandon sent to us, and actually a couple. We'll just go ahead and get into it too. We're not going to play the whole video, I don't think, here, but he was talking about, I guess, lawless 90s kids. So what's his name? Derek Stroop? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Derek Stroop. Nice to meet y'all. I'm originally from Alabama. I moved to Denver about 9 years ago to experience real-time travel. We'll talk about that a little bit. Let me tell you, I like to just introduce myself up top, get to know each other a little bit, let you know how I got into comedy, okay? I got in the way that you're supposed to, all right? The hard way. 12 years ago, I got 2 DUIs, all right? Now, y'all listen to me. If you want funny comedians, you got to have some that's seen a checkpoint. And listen, I've turned it off. I don't drink anymore. My life's changed. All the things that y'all want to hear have happened, okay? And I usually don't talk about it because I'm ashamed of it. But now that there's a little space between me and these DUIs, I'd like to circle back and say some shit. Myself, because I got my DUIs back when we were still earning them. Okay. No, there was no Uber or Lyft. All right. If you're under the age of 28, you don't know what it's like to be stranded. You've never been at a house party and watched your DD black out. You've never seen that. You don't know how scary that is. You're just going to be sober. Tyler lied.
That is so
stuck at a stranger's house. You don't know how you're going to get home. You've never earned it. Sleeping in a cold sunroom, using a rug as a blanket. It's terrifying. Laying in the floor, you're like, will sunlight ever come? I don't know. If you're under the age of 28, you don't know what you get to go home when you want. Kings and queens of the Irish goodbye. You've never been stuck in a kitchen going through a stranger's pantry before. Because you couldn't leave because you're stuck. We didn't drive drunk because we wanted to. Look at me. We drove drunk because we wanted to see our families again. I wanted to see my mom, you know? I had too much vodka. That doesn't mean I don't get to see her. Some of y'all don't know what that's like. You've never earned it, you know? And
I don't know how much more you wanted to play, but I want to play the whole thing.
Summer of 07, anyone?
Oh, yeah.
That's it right there. Like,
what's that?
There's more to but that was just the gist of what I was trying to get across. Like, there were times where, like, and when I say these weren't always house parties, you know what I'm saying? Some of these were bonfires. So we're in the middle of somebody's fucking woods somewhere in somebody's field. I don't know these people. I came with this person. But because this person hooked up with this girl, they left, and now I'm surrounded by
that
both
was the
people I don't
worst.
fucking know.
Yeah. That
Now
you
you're
young
around
kids,
people you don't know.
you young kids 28 or younger
Yeah.
don't understand what it's like to not have GPS too. So
Map
you get
quest.
stranded on a road somewhere, you don't know where the hell
Yes.
you're going. You know?
Map quick, bro.
Actually, I'm very navigationally inclined. So
But if you're in a place you've
Jill-
never been before, you know,
How many times have you had to like decipher where me and Jordan were?
summer of 07, a couple times for sure. I'd be soundly asleep at 3 a.m. Hey man, we're both drunk out here at the Taco Bell. Could you come pick us up off the curb? It's like,
There's
dude,
4 of them.
yeah, which one? Yeah. So it's
Bro.
like, downtown, by the square.
Yeah. The fact that you got to give out landmarks is crazy.
That's just the way it goes.
and so it has begun.
Dude,
But to kind of wrap up this, nostalgia talk here, Brandon also sent us this video with 25 reasons to know that you grew up in the 90s. This is some good examples here. See how many we recognize.
Number 25. You thought dial-up
Oh, yeah.
was super fast. Remember when it took 2 days to download one movie and then it turned out to be in Cantonese with no subtitles? If you did it this way, you're 90.
And the god awful sound that it made.
You know what?
remember these?
For those of you who never understood what the save icon in every software program ever is referring to, you definitely didn't grow up in the 90s.
And this is actually the newer model. There was a thing
Yeah,
that was a
the
floppy
floppy
disk
Big
that
ass
literally
floppy
flopped
disk.
around. Yeah, so
When
it
I
looks similar to
played-
this, but a
When I
little
played Oregon Trail, it was on a floppy disk.
yeah.
Number 23. You spent hours rewinding one of these.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember to find that one part of that one song using a number 2 pencil to rewind the tape? If you do, you're also a 90s kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Number 22. You understand the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh
Forget
god.
the decimal system. If you don't know the difference between a library and a computer lab, well, you definitely aren't a 90s kid. Number 21. You watched movies on one of these. With subpar image quality, no menu options, and no extra cool features, the VHS was simple and from the 90s. Number 20. You had a pager. Yeah, we know. Some
I never
people
had one of
still
those.
use these.
I did.
I did.
We use dial-up.
I had the Motorola one, the one on the one
Things
with just
just takes time.
I did.
Skytel. Holy shit.
You know how to place a collect call.
Yeah.
Believe it or
1-800
not,
COLLECT.
phones were attached to wires that were attached to the wall in large boxes that required coins to operate. You may still find some of these artifacts randomly strewn about the streets of large cities.
Artifacts.
When you
Fuck
in
off.
order to place a call, you could always make the person you're calling pay for it. If this still doesn't make sense to you, breathe easy. You're not a 90s kid. Number 18. You've seen a standalone fax machine. Although these days only paper-pushing corporate and third-world bureaucracies actually use these relics, there was a time.
My grandma's got one of those.
Number 17. You can sing and or dance to Ice Ice Baby and Macarena.
Oh,
Or Fresh Meat. If you don't know any of those, we're sorry you missed out on a great
And
decade.
Hammer Time.
Number
Ice
16.
Ice
definitely.
Baby, definitely.
Oh God,
If you've ever known the emotion of losing a fake pet after forgetting to feed it
they're
fake
plotting
food,
to kill us
then
all.
you surely grew up in the 90s.
Have you ever seen the Furby in a microwave?
Yeah.
No.
Pogs
All right.
and
Oh,
eBay.
baby.
Hey, can you pause it here for a second? Or, Eric, can you pause it for a second?
Yeah.
Did you guys go through the Pog phase?
No.
Not really. No.
I did.
Barely.
I might have had a few, but
I don't
didn't
even know
play
what
it.
Yeah.
a pog is, Brandon.
Obviously, man. Pogs were
Yeah, but barely.
Careful Googling that. Be
Yeah,
careful
yes,
Googling that.
yeah. Pogs were.
Oh, go ahead.
You Google it. Let me know what you find out.
Yeah. Show your wife.
POG, not PAWG.
Yeah,
Be careful.
we had different kind of Pog, by the way. Still good though. You could probably still bounce it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Moving on.
You can use a slammer on either one of them. We used to have Pog battles in school.
Bam.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Right,
Moving
stuffed
on.
animals. The boys were busy hoarding thousands of cardboard discs that did little more than sit on their shelves. Don't remember? Good. You're a better person for it. Number 14. You learned to read because of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
Never did get into those.
or Harry
I did.
Potter. Number
I did.
13. You wonder what happened to all the good cartoons.
Yeah,
Oh, geez, don't get me started.
Pete Gonzalez.
please.
Those were the glory days. Number 12. You know what it means to get slimed.
Yep.
While Nickelodeon has always somehow been
Double
connected
Dare.
to green slime, the 90s made the two nearly synonymous. Number 11. TGIF equals TV. Remember ABC's TGIF lineup of Tool Time, Full House, and Boy Meets World?
Nope.
Oh, I was wrong.
Boy Meets World.
Number 10.
Yeah, Boy Meets
You
World,
had to
yeah.
have a Trapper Keeper.
Yes.
Yes.
Unnecessary pockets, obnoxious colors.
I had a Trapper Keeper.
Definitely.
You weren't
the
cool in
90s.
school unless you had one.
Number 9. You spent a significant amount of time trying to locate Carmen Sandiego. If you knew what it's like to have a globe spotting red-coated your dreams at night, then yeah, you're a 90s kid.
I didn't get to that as much.
Number 8. You own scrunchies.
No,
Well,
I didn't
Yeah.
know scrunchies.
My wife has a
I knew people that did.
Yeah.
Number 7. You've got.
Brandon, were you a scrunchie girl? Duh. All right, pause it here for a second. Eric,
I never wore these.
I had a few.
you had a few scrunchies?
Yeah.
What are we paused on?
So, listen.
90s style.
This right here, I had. This, you got to remember, Hammer was in. You know what I mean? I had two pairs of these parachute pants.
Mm-hmm.
They're Zubaz pants, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Zubaz, man, swear to God.
Swear to God. Damn, Donnie Baker.
Looking like Screech.
Donnie Baker, man. Bruh, but
State law.
the one dude in the blue looks like Slater. No cap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He does
absolutely.
actually. Yeah.
This was
Are we
fashion
sure
back
it's
then.
not?
Though. Like you.
I don't know. I don't think it is, but I don't know.
No, it's-
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Then you were awesome.
It does look it straight
Number
off stage.
6. You wore slap bracelets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every 90s
God.
kid knows the true meaning of impossible, which is not consistently smacking your bracelet onto your wrist. Number 5. You
Thanks
wanted a
to
cheetah
Kathy, I got some.
Yep.
while the
Nice.
flapper was understandable.
You remember these?
Chia pet.
Chia.
Moldy fur. Answer:
Clap
you were a
on.
kid.
Clap
Number
off.
4. You were the king of
Yeah.
the slip and slide. You know the joy of having the
Slip and
wind in your
slide.
face as you go speeding across the backyard on your stomach on a soap trail of plastic. And you know that
Brandon, I
pain
busted my
Guys,
butt on your slip and
Or a
slide.
rock.
90s kid.
Oh,
Number
man.
2.
Oh, God, yeah.
Remember when MTV actually played music? Progress
Those were the days.
Mhm.
MTV. Number 2. You had a GeoCities website. There's no way you could have
No.
made it 10 years without setting up at least one free website. Man,
think-
you were so cool.
I never did.
I never did, but I knew somebody who did.
I knew about it.
$8.96 a month.
Sick and a good thing, yo.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely identify with a lot of those.
I seen
Definitely
that. shit, I
dating
went,
myself.
Bruh. And that was just like glossing over some of the greatest hits. There was a lot of shit from the 90s. Like me and Miranda a while back watched a video of a 90s person, like a room setup of somebody from the 90s, and I went, I threw up in my mouth. You know how many videos I saw like
Scooby
that?
Doo, Tom and Jerry, the
The old
cartoons.
Walmarts.
Oh,
Technically, a lot of those cartoons were made long before the 90s.
Yeah,
I
they were
know,
like
but
40s,
they aired in
50s.
the
Yeah.
90s.
They,
You
yeah,
remember-
they still air probably somewhere.
you remember
I
the way
Censored
I watched Tubi. I
bastards.
watched Scooby Doo
Yeah.
on Tubi.
you remember the way Taco Bell used to look on the inside? Like,
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
and what was it? We were saying Pizza Hut had a buffet like back there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Ponderosa
Pizza
had
Hut
a
was absolutely
buffet
great.
back then.
I don't give man. Ponderosa has some of the best fried chicken wings ever. Like I used to go to Ponderosa.
Yeah.
I used to get their chicken wings all the time in Ponderosa.
This was like Taco Bell in like the 90s.
Bruh.
Yes.
You know.
Mhm.
hmm All the pastels, Southwest.
Yep.
You know, before Arby's was bankrupt, and
It used to look so.
Yeah.
Hey, you find a
alive.
McDonald's from back in the 90s is vastly different from them.
Oh,
does
God,
Aaron
yeah.
know he's muted?
Yeah,
Aaron's
they
muting
had
himself because of his
Play
you know,
places.
you know.
in 'em.
He'll unmute himself if he wants to talk. This is Taco Bell now. Talk about sad.
Yeah.
God,
I mean,
it's just this muted gray.
it's
Ugh.
pathetic. You know.
I like how you
It's like a
have to
depressed
order
version.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's-
Chi-Chi's. You guys remember Chi-Chi's?
Oh yeah.
My uncle
My
worked
dad
at one.
for Chi-Chi's.
Yeah, Chi-Chi's was the
Especially once
shit
you found
back
out what
then.
Chi Chi stood for.
Chi-Chi's was
Yeah.
good. Grasshopper.
Oh,
Grasshopper.
here's some better shots of Taco Bell.
Bruh, yes.
Yeah. So.
Mhm.
Brandon, do you remember
Nostalgia is
Grasshopper?
flowing tonight.
Oh yeah.
God.
I mean, wait, that's not Taco Bell. That's
That's not Taco
completely
Bell.
different.
Well, that's a
Sorry,
different
my bad.
franchise.
False
Yeah.
advertisement. Way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way to
yeah.
be that guy.
There you
But
go.
that's
Taco,
what Taco
Taco
Bell looked
Bell.
like on the inside. Yeah,
Yeah, Taco Bell.
with the
There we are.
colorful.
Yeah, not so dour and bleak. You know what I mean?
You remember the old red cups from Pizza Hut, like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I miss Racks.
Do you
Remember
guys
that?
remember
Racks.
Grasshopper?
I don't know if they
Where
had
Taco
Racks in
Bell used to
Ohio.
be?
What's Racks?
It's basically cheaper Arby's.
Oh no.
That was like my
didn't know.
gateway drug to
No.
to roast beef.
Mm.
Or like Kathy said, Ponderosa.
Ponderosa was
Yeah,
the shit.
Ponderosa.
Here's
There
Pizza
used
Hut.
to be.
Yeah, this is the Pizza Hut I remember.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's where I had my first beer.
Yeah,
Really?
This is. It was actually
Is
a
that a Pizza
sit-down
Hut?
experience. You go to have buffets.
Yeah.
And actually
Yeah.
order your
I turned-
pizza there. Yeah.
Mhm.
I turned
Play
21.
arcade.
I turned 21. We had a little get together, and we went to Pizza Hut. My dad bought me a Miller Genuine Draft.
Wow.
I think the Pizza Hut in Linton still has a dine-in.
Oh really?
Oh well, we need to go
That
there.
one does.
Yeah.
I had mine
you
at
can kind of
Buffalo
see a
Wild
little
Wings.
red.
Well, the
cup
one
there.
says they're going to reopen soon.
Mm. Did you guys have a brown
Greensburg?
derby?
A brown derby.
Yeah.
I think so.
That sounds like something you look up on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
So brown derby was supposed to be like this big, this huge, nice restaurant. It
It was
was
the red
not.
cups that
It
Pizza
was-
Hut had.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember those.
Damn,
those.
dude.
Trying to see what else.
Nothing's
Dude, can we talk
open
about
in
Chicken
Linton.
Littles?
Chicken Littles. Yeah, you mentioned it during the pre-show before we got on the air.
What's Chicken Littles?
It was a KFC thing.
The little sliders, the little
Oh
square little
yeah,
bastards.
yeah. Damn.
No, not that bullcrap they tried to pass off a handful of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Get a sack of 10 of them little bastards and go to town.
yeah,
Bruh. Yeah, I remember these things.
yeah. 2 for $3. Yeah, this is like. Well, I don't know. This might have
No,
been
no.
This is
those
the
are
one
the-
from a few years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is probably
that's
more
the
what we
bullcrap.
had.
There we are.
Yeah, that's the old stuff. Yeah,
Oh my
That's
God.
what I'm
Dude,
talking
look
about.
at the price.
it's basically White
Dude,
Castle. Kind of what it was.
I have been trying like crazy to replicate that recipe for the Chicken Littles.
Wow.
Ty says he's still bitter, or he's not bitter about nothing being open in Linton. Still. So yeah. So
I'm
Damn.
not still bitter.
Kathy said her first job was McDonald's in 1986. Mine was Dairy Queen. So I kind of understand what you're going through there.
Mine was G's Golden Gate. This
Mine
little
was-
Greek restaurant.
I worked for Jimmy Dean Coffee Realty.
Fuck.
Ah, yeah.
Wow.
He was a realtor. He did move like furniture. I
He
moved
auctioned,
furniture
done
for
auctions too,
people
didn't
like-
he?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
No, I worked.
Yeah, I
at
moved
this
furniture
little-
for Jimmy Dean and got stuff ready for auction, and that was my first job at 17.
Brandon, where'd
Nice.
you work? What was your first job?
The Dinner Bell in Portland
Crickets. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
restaurant.
Yeah, I heard little crickets too. It was funny. That's
crazy.
outside.
you were
So, yeah.
Oh,
damn.
can you not hear me?
No,
No,
you just pause. That's all.
Yeah,
And
the
My
pause in
crickets.
between me asking you the question,
Alright.
and then he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
crickets.
there's literal crickets in the background. It's outstanding.
Mm.
I
All right,
doing
well-
my
No,
podcast
man.
outside.
Yeah, that's fine. Wait till the winter time. I can't wait for you to stay outside on that one.
No, I will be inside during that time period. Thank you very much.
Motherfucker be on the front porch just shivering, teeth chattering.
But in the
All right, well-
summertime, I like to be outside.
But yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to go down this little
No,
nostalgia.
you're good.
trip.
You know,
I've
it was
seen
a
that
fun,
shit.
fun
That's
rabbit hole.
cool.
I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
But since we're an hour in, we'll try to hit some of the topics for the night too.
All right,
Since we did.
All right, anyway,
but yeah,
I'm gonna step out for a second. I will be back to interject myself in this conversation.
yeah. Brandon's doing some stuff too, so he'll be back here in just a minute. When he is, we'll bring you back in for sure. But I thought we'd do a little bit of movie news and a few other things tonight. Hopefully, Brandon will be back with some of the wrestling talk too. But let's hit the movie news real quick. Oh, Kathy, of course, not a big fan of the movie news or some of the other stuff because she doesn't watch a lot of movies and stuff. So she's like, I'll be on the porch. I'll be back in a while too. So apparently everybody's going to check out besides us three for this one. Well, wait, we got Aaron back too. So we'll bring him in as well here. So, but we got some movie news I wanted to discuss a little bit. A couple things. One was from the MCU and Marvel Studios. We got the first image, official look at Sam Wilson's Captain America that was released on the 4th of July yesterday. So we thought we'd take a quick look at this new costume design here that he'll be donning in the upcoming Captain America Brave New World, which will be hitting theaters this February in 2025. So yeah, thoughts on the design for anybody? I know Matt's an MCU fan. Wonder what you would maybe think about this.
I like it.
I think it looks
I think
cool.
I think it's cool.
Hard-hitting analysis right here on the channel, everybody.
Yep, that's
I
all
mean,
you
well-
need right there.
Yeah.
Next.
Kind of going back
Yeah,
into
Next question.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I didn't really care for the political nonsense that, the kind of racist stuff that they were throwing in there. I mean, I felt like that was unnecessary, personally. But I mean, I do like it.
I mean, I understand what they were going
Aaron.
for. But I understand what they were going for. But yeah,
I just wish they really wouldn't.
It was unnecessary.
I mean, I think it plays into the character of Sam Wilson, but that one to me was one I wouldn't complain about as much. But I understand where you're coming from with it. I do. I get what you're saying.
Leave politics and politics.
He's never mentioned any sort of thing like that in any of the other movies he was in, and then all of a sudden they have this series and they've got to throw this. Oh, there was a black Captain America that was treated poorly before.
Yeah, that was a little out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie to you there.
Yeah. And I think someone somewhere told me that was actually with the comics. Like there was a comic line that actually had something like that in it, but that doesn't mean that it was a good thing.
Well, not only that, in the MCU, he was never mentioned for like 10 years, and all of a sudden, oh, we had another guy who also had the super soldier serum and things like that too. It's like it did come out of left field, but becoming the successor to Steve Rogers, I can understand why they kind of went with the the racial stuff that is going on in our society today to a degree.
Well, you can't give it to Bucky.
Well, no, exactly. You can't. And everybody was like, well, why not Bucky? I mean, he's more experienced than Sam Wilson, but at the same time, Bucky also had this history of, breaking the law and murdering people. So it's like you do that. You can't do that in the storyline. So
and be Captain America.
If we're going by, comics, in one of the comic lines, Bucky also got the Captain America title and the shield. So I'm just saying that I feel like they went for the more darker side of things, with the whole Black Captain America, or the first super soldier, Black super soldier, because I was perfectly okay with, what is his Falcon? Sam. I was perfectly okay with him getting the shield and everything. I thought he was a good fit because he does things for the sake of good.
Come on, Ty. Touche. Good call.
Oh gosh,
Eric, you say it all the time. You say that there. Spoiler alert for fans who do not watch the Infinity Endgame saga.
I think if anybody who wants to have seen it has probably seen it by now, so don't worry.
There's a scene in there
tell you who hasn't.
where you say it yourself, where the whole crowd goes, "Oh shit, this just got real," and Captain America is involved in that scene.
Yeah,
I want to see a scene like that for Sam.
Well, you got to build to that. You got to give it some time.
I'm just saying if he hits on a scene like that, good for MCU. And and moving on, it's the same kind of along the same storyline when we went with Black Panther last episode. I mean, you just have to let these actors grow.
Yeah, you do, and I think that hopefully all the rewrites and reshoots they've done on Captain America: Brave New World also pay off for them. They've gone through extensive reshoots on this movie for sure, and we don't really know a whole lot about the plot. It's probably changed a little bit here and there. But obviously the death of William Hurt, who played General Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU before, kind of like the Chadwick Boseman thing, while not as integral of a role, he was definitely a long-standing actor who was in the series, and now he will be replaced by Harrison Ford in this upcoming film playing Thunderbolt Ross. And of course, he's got the history with the Hulk, obviously, we all know, and the super soldier serum experiments he was doing back then. So I think this movie is probably going to center around the super soldier serum storyline, because Sam Wilson does not have that yet. Very well could get that in that movie as well. Plus, there's a lot of rumors going around that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk could make an appearance in this, as Thunderbolt Ross, who is, based on these photos here, you can clearly tell is now the president of the United States. And he also could be getting the super soldier serum and becoming the Red Hulk, as he did in the comics in this movie, becoming the main antagonist of the film. So if that's the case, I think it could be very good. And supposedly in this particular scene, there's already been leaks about this, as President Ross is asking Sam Wilson where the Avengers are and are we going to reform them. So we're going to be getting that story continuing as well.
Interesting seeing Harrison Ford as possibly an antagonist.
Yeah, as a bit of a.
And you know what? That is something that it's
He can
something
do-
different for him. It's
He
a
can
different
do.
side.
He
for
just
him.
doesn't do it very often, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, he's always been the hero in every movie. Maybe he wants to try being the villain.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be perfectly down with that for sure. And not only that, it's one of those things too. If he becomes the Red Hulk, it could be one of those situations where he, miscalculates the super soldier serum and gets to a point to where he can never change back and he stays the Red Hulk all the time. So that way, if Harrison Ford doesn't want to be in the MCU more than a couple movies or something like that, he could check out as well, and the Red Hulk could still be a main character moving forward and a potential
Yes.
World War Hulk film that could be coming up down the line as well.
Harrison Ford likes to do this thing with movies, where he likes to come into them, and then he likes to get out of them. He doesn't like to linger in them.
Yeah. Well, especially his age. Why would you commit to something long term? I mean,
Well,
I get that.
I understand that, and that's movies throughout his career. Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
and
That's
the
his one
Star
thing he'd
Wars
love to come back
saga.
to. Yeah.
And you could tell the roles that he fell in love with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I understand. It will be very interesting to see him as he was the Red Hulk. That would be very interesting.
I think that could be great. We're also got a little bit of MCU stuff I want to talk about. This is not official, so don't run with this as fact or anything like that. However, the MCU and Marvel Studios are going to be hosting a Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con at the end of July, where we are expected to hear about the upcoming MCU slate moving forward after 2025. As of right now, 2025 has Captain America: Brave New World, the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and right now Blade is scheduled to release at the end of next year. However, I think with a lot of the drama going on in the Blade film, that film may get pushed back or canceled altogether. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. However,
hold on. What do you mean by drama? Like what? I didn't.
Well, it's been rewritten many times. We've had multiple directors dropped off. Mahershala Ali, who was signed on to the film to be Blade, is increasingly growing frustrated. Things like that. So hopefully they can get all that sorted out. But since it's not even really slated to begin filming yet, to hit that release date at the end of next year is going to be very difficult to do. So I expect it to be at least 2026, if at all, at this point. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll confirm that. But after that, the rumors going around is this could be the potential slate. Spider-Man 4, Armor Wars with Ironheart and Rhodey, most likely, and that's kind of an extension of the Iron Man
a
franchise.
movie that I will go see.
We also potentially have Shang-Chi 2 and Avengers 5 rounding out 2026 going into 2027 with Avengers probably dropping in May. After that, we could be getting the rebooted X-Men film, Doctor Strange 3, Thor. It may not be titled Battle of the Gods, but Thor 5, it could be obviously Hercules versus Thor as they tease at the end of Love and Thunder. And then, of course, part 1 and potentially even part 2 of Avengers Secret Wars to round out the multiverse saga. That's the rumor right now. This has no TV series or animated series that they're doing between now and then. But over the next 4 years, this could be what we're getting from the MCU. So if that's the case, what are your thoughts on that slate?
Brandon?
The Thor thing will be dope. Really interested to see what X-Men we would get and what the story would be this time around. Doctor Strange, cool, because I like where it left off and where it could go from there. What was the other one? I'm sorry.
It was Secret Wars.
Secret Wars would be dope.
Yeah, that should have all these crazy multiverse things going on where we're possibly Hugh Jackman, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, all the big actors possibly being in it as well. Yeah, so possibly 3 Avengers films in the next 4 years. That would be interesting too. We got 4 in like 10 years. We may be getting 3 in a span of 4. So maybe even a couple years by the time they're released. So
Blade and Fantastic Four kind of scare me.
Well, Fantastic Four is starting to shoot at the end of July, going into August. So we'll get a little bit more about that probably at Comic-Con as well. But at least they've got a plan for it, so that's always a plus. So
Fantastic Four and X-Men are kind of the movies that we have really MCU has really struggled to hit on.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it wasn't like.
Well, the MCU's not had X-Men yet.
Yeah.
In general, so we can't put that on the MCU. That's
20th
not there.
Century Fox, they had a good thing going with the original Fantastic Four, and I thought that was a good. The only problem was it interfered with actors that were in the MCU.
Well, Chris Evans wasn't Captain America yet when that movie was shot, so no, it kind of really didn't.
So,
a Fantastic Four. Now, I know. You might know Wes. He's one of the FedEx guys in the back. He loves Fantastic Four, so he's been following. I hear from him every day about Fantastic Four. Like he follows it heavy. He also is a guy that doesn't like to ruin movies for himself either.
Right.
So he's literally seen maybe a snippet of the Deadpool trailer,
Okay.
and refuses to watch anymore because he just wants to go into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Smart man.
But we talk, Fantastic Four every day. He's super excited about that movie, and I hope it's everything he wants it to be because he is a huge Fantastic Four fan. So I'm hoping that it's what he wants out of that. But like I said, we chat about these movies every morning when I see him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's super pumped about it. But him being pumped about it gives me hope that it won't be terrible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they would ruin it. I have more faith in Marvel Studios doing the movie than I do, where it was after Silver Surfer. I liked Silver Surfer, but then again, I like the Silver Surfer as a character. So.
Yeah, I do too. I just think that what they did with Galactus making him a big cloud in space did not help the Green Lantern movie, did not help that Fantastic Four sequel, which is why we got what we got for sure. But what are your thoughts on the Captain America suit that they revealed on 4th of July?
I like it. I like it a lot. I wish he had the wings though. I ain't gonna hold you. Does he have the wings?
Well, from the reports are stating that he'll be having this suit that he had at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier, as well as the new suit at the bottom.
Okay,
in the movie, most likely. So he'll probably get a suit upgrade during the film, from the sounds of things. So
bet, then I'll be happy because I still want that part of Falcon.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it was cool the way they integrated both sides of it in the TV show. So absolutely down with that. So yeah. All right. Well, since we got into a little bit of Marvel, we'll get into a little bit of DC too. I know there's a lot of set photos going around right now for the upcoming Superman film coming out.
That looks like ass.
Oh, stop it. It does not. Are you serious? You think
Look
so?
at this
No, be
suit.
honest.
Aaron.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
Really?
Aaron.
Okay. Fair enough. Maybe I'm in the minority here.
Is it more old school?
No.
Because it looks loose as hell.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. But you got to remember, too, this is set photos. Things are going to look different on screen. It always does.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people saying the same things you are. I agree. But
camera subtracts 10 pounds.
It looks cheap.
This is very cheaply made.
It's not. I get what they're going for, the look wise, especially with the underwear over the top. But it just looks
that man right there.
Halloween store bought. Does that make sense?
He does not get paid enough for what he's doing right there. I'm just saying that right now.
Those are the real heroes.
And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're right.
Is that the Superman from Temu?
There were a lot of people online who said it looked like a CW show.
Yes. It just doesn't seem like a movie. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you could pull up Superman suits from the other movies, right? Hell, do me a favor. Pull up, if you can do it, Christopher Reeve's suit from Superman.
I got you. Yeah.
Eric probably has that photo on his computer.
No. It's not hard to find.
Desktop photo.
What you trying to imply there?
Screensaver. Let's be honest.
What the hell does that mean? Damn.
Hey, you know what the opposite of Christopher Reeve is?
What?
Oh no.
Christopher Walken.
Oh
no. See, okay.
See now.
But this was in the 70s.
Yes.
Oh,
but that's especially the S on the chest. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's better than that one.
Well, you know why they're doing the S the way they are on the other suit, right?
No.
This movie was originally titled Superman Legacy.
No.
Okay.
So
the idea, I think, behind the suit is the S is kind of more Kingdom Come comic.
That's fine. But it looks like they tried to like put like battle armor in a suit that doesn't need it.
Well, the lines, there a lot of people were upset about the lines in the suit, you know.
Like
that's kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, which is again,
that's what I'm saying. Like Superman, he didn't need to look like he had muscles because the motherfucker had muscles.
Well, this guy's got muscles too. They're just covering it up with the suit right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was Superman's physique. You know what I mean? Like it was. That's what. Like go back to the Christopher Reeves shot. I'm sorry.
Can we move on to Robert
You know what I'm saying?
Pattinson's Batman finally?
Oh, get in here.
Yeah, like
that suit. That's Superman. You know what I mean? Like when you see Superman's suit, like that's. And I get it. They're going for the colors, the way the bright blue, not as dark as it is in the other Superman movies.
But I give it a benefit of doubt. Eric may be right. It might be better on TV.
Well, movie theater,
movie
hopefully.
screen.
Nah, it looks like a TV show. But no, even who was it that played Superman in Smallville? Not Smallville. Yeah, Smallville.
I couldn't tell you his name off the top of my
What was
head.
his name?
Tom Welling.
Okay, not Smallville.
That's
then.
small.
The Superman and
Smallville.
Lois.
Oh my goodness.
You're talking
The
about Dean.
Superman
You're talking about Dean Cain.
Dean Cain.
Superman and Lois.
And that suit was better than the last one.
Well, that suit you only saw one time too, because it was at the very end of the series.
Yeah.
But this is Brandon Routh playing the Kingdom Come version in Arrow in the CW universe. It does kind of look similar
Looks
to
like
that.
Joel Osteen.
Man.
Wow. Small for his body.
Of course, TV's once again said down with big cinema TV. Sure.
Down with
But like even that suit.
And of course, here's what's his name, Tyler Hoechlin, who plays the current Man of Steel on the CW under Superman, and I think that shows Superman and Lois. So, yeah. So I mean, sure.
See that?
And then of course the Man of Steel here, Henry Cavill. So
I like that suit.
movie. That movie,
but it didn't have the red underwear.
It's not bright enough either, in my opinion.
It's not. It's not.
So,
This I don't know.
That
man.
movie was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked it.
I hope you're right. I hope it looks better on screen.
Well,
but like the screenshots don't. It just doesn't.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't look right. You're right. Horton said it. It looks like if you ordered a suit from the Halloween store, that's what you get.
Well, to piggyback off that thought, we've also got set photo images for Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner's Green Lantern on the top. Now, the bottom is the comic version, obviously, and the top is the movie version. Now, before we fly off,
these people,
they're more obscure DC comic characters, Matt, but they are part of the DC comics. Now, hold on.
Why does Green Lantern have white all over?
Listen, I'm trying to get into that. Give me a second. The reasoning behind this potentially could be, if you look at their chest of the people wearing the white suits, they all have a particular logo right on embroiled onto their chest, right?
Right.
There's a lot of talk going around that is potentially Lord Tech's symbol for his company, or potentially a Justice League. You can see the J and the L in there and an I in the middle. It could be Justice League International, or a younger version or a less established version of the Justice League, potentially being ran by Maxwell Lord in the movie, one of the DC Comics villains, and Lex Luthor is also involved in this movie. So,
like Justice League LLC or what?
Something like that. So potentially this could be an early version to where by the end of the movie, these characters get suit upgrades, and these are the early suits to kind of tie into that story. And by the end, obviously, they turn on whoever they work for, and Superman inspires them to be their own heroes. I don't know.
You know what, Brandon? People said that Avengers wasn't going to work either.
Matt's not wrong about that. That is true.
People said Avengers was never going to work. And you know what? If DC sees this as a home run, they could hit one. I mean, it could hit.
Go back to that. Go back to the picture where it shows the characters in the comic book versions.
Yeah. I hear you.
Look at Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. He's got the bowl cut at least, for certain. But yes, it's definitely missing. The white jackets are not indicative of the comic book characters. Now, I think the white jacket actually looks like Mr. Terrific. There's also a rumor in here that it could be the Terrifics, like a team up that Mr. Terrific leads. I don't know. But yes, there's more obscure DC characters to start out, but we know we're getting Batman, Wonder Woman, you know, Flash will probably be at some point, all those heavy hitters as well.
That Green Lantern, the actual movie guy, the blonde dude up top there, he kind of looks like Stewart from Saturday Night Live.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you beat me to it.
That's definitely Nathan Fillion, who was in he was definitely been in some Guardians movies as well. But yeah, all that on top of that, we also got another set photo, which I thought was interesting. David Cornsweat's Superman is kneeling down and he's interacting with a squirrel inside a clear case. Now, could it be that he's just trying to save an animal out of a tree, you know, type of thing? Or could it be Chip, the Green Lantern squirrel?
It better fucking be Chip.
I mean, again, a more obscure comic book character.
I really hope that is not agenda pushing.
No, Chip is legit, you fuckwad.
That's not a fake thing. How is it agenda pushing? Anyway, you're trying to push furries or something? What are you talking about? But they
furries are invasive. There's a season on them.
There is a season.
But yeah, I mean, that's the speculation right now. Obviously, like I said, James Gunn is more about the obscure characters in his comic book films. The Suicide Squad movie had freaking, what was the starfish's name?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Patrick?
No.
The same director of Suicide Squad is directing these movies. Am I correct, Eric?
Yeah, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, and obviously Guardians of the Galaxy themselves are obscure. So he's going to pull some deep pulls out of these comic books.
I'll give it a shot.
I'd be pumped to see Chip.
Yeah, to interact with the main DC characters that we've all come to know and love, like Superman and Batman. So, like I said, I'm just saying at this point, let James Gunn cook. That's all I'm saying. We'll see what happens.
I don't dip too much into DC. Brandon's more of the DC guy than I am. So
I hate the costumes. All right, that you may be right. This may be some.
I understand. It does look the way you're thinking. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I've seen enough photos to know. Wait and see what the trailer brings.
You see this?
Yeah, I know. Brandon's a big Green Lantern fan. We all know for sure. And this probably doesn't even have Hal Jordan and John Stewart in it. Would you have thought, asking yourself, if in the new DCU the first Green Lantern we would see would be a freaking comic book squirrel? I mean,
First of all,
before
you
Hal
better
Jordan?
put some respect on Chip's name. All right, Chip fuck you up. All right. I bet you motherfuckers don't even know there's a whole planet that's a Green Lantern. Okay.
Yeah.
A whole ass planet.
Yeah,
Ain't it toss?
Yeah, the planet, like Ego, the living planet.
And Brandon,
First
you may
of all,
be
his
right.
name is Oa. Get it together.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, I got it.
It may be Chip.
What if Chip comes in and is telling Superman, "Hey, those good guys are actually working for a bad guy, but they're not going to listen to me, so I need you to convince them."
Man, Chip wouldn't have to do that. Chip would just go do.
Does he speak squirrel? Kind of like in Finding Nemo, he spoke Will. She spoke Will.
Put some respect on Chip's name.
Uh,
Okay,
I'm
I'm not
just
gonna
saying.
sit here and take this Chip slander.
Miranda, you got anything to add to this?
So you mean to tell me
No,
there's like
'cause I don't know nothing
superhero
about
squirrels
Chip.
out there that like I could eat?
Neither do
I don't know if you can eat Chip, son. He put them hands on you, son. He get them paws on you. I mean, Kilowog's a huge.
Got to get to me first.
For lack of a better term, a pig person.
Yeah, pretty
All
much.
I know is whatever they're doing with Green Lantern better be good because I don't want to hear him whine.
Well, it's going to be coming down the line here in the next few years for sure. Piggybacking off that again too, Matt mentioned the Batman. We got some official news today that apparently the planned Arkham Asylum series that was originally supposed to be taking place in the Batman franchise with Matt Reeves as director and that whole side story there, that Elseworld story, which eventually got kind of rewritten and repurposed for the new DCU. But it's officially been scrapped. It's no longer happening. So, so unfortunately, no more Arkham Asylum, which I don't know about you. If you've ever played the Arkham Asylum games, absolutely outstanding material.
Yeah.
Some of the best Batman
Hold
content you can find
on
out
a second. The game was scrapped?
No, the TV series.
Show.
The
I
games
didn't
have
even
been
know they were
done.
coming out with one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the games have been done for a while.
Well, see, you're not missing anything then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Okay, that's
now
good.
they did say with the cancellation, though, there is a potential for them to possibly pick the idea back up again later if they can actually get it to work in the new DCU or something. But sounds like that went through multiple rewrites and things like that, and they just couldn't come to.
Dan, have you played any of these games?
Nope.
I
Okay.
still say
You should.
that
They're
that
awesome.
the whole Superman v Batman story, and they told some of it, but not all of it, would have been better if they had just told the story from Injustice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, give them time. They very well still could do that sort of thing.
Because it made Superman a fucking villain, and was
It's good to see
don't
Chris
get me wrong.
Burns still out there doing things.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this.
That's
I
Colin
can't
Farrell,
wait to
actually,
see this.
believe it or not.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah,
fat
Colin
suit
Farrell.
on. But yeah.
This looks good.
Yeah, that's the Penguin, which they announced comes out on September 8th now, which is a official release date for that show now. But yeah, that was a Catwoman, I think, in the movie too, the Batman. And then of course the Joker that we only saw a little bit of in Arkham Asylum could have potentially been a part of that Arkham series. But with it being canceled now, let's have to wait and see if the DC. Now again, with all this stuff, you know, like you're mentioning the Injustice storyline and all this stuff. This universe is just starting. We still very well could get all these storylines you're looking for, but they're just it's gonna take a little time.
These villains are frightening.
Yeah, I don't know if I really
the
like
word
this
I'm going to
version of
use is terrifying.
I don't either.
to them.
I don't think DC, and I would love for them to do it, but I don't think they would ever turn Superman into a villain.
Well, they started to do that a little bit with the Zack Snyder stuff, but then like the Justice League stuff didn't really go well with Zack Snyder. I know his director's cut and everything went better, but they were going to do that where he was a villain because Darkseid killed Lois Lane and it made him snap.
That's not that's not what happened.
I know the way they were doing it was a little, right. I hear you.
Like
so yeah, I mean, very well could.
The Injustice storyline. To see Superman's motivation for doing what he did in Injustice, and then him doing it the way he did it, and then just saying like salty earth, you know what I mean? Like he was a tyrant because they took one thing from him. One person took one thing from him, who he fucking killed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then just said everybody gets it.
To answer Kathy's question, yes, there is a Batwoman. There's been multiple versions of the character in the comics. And they've actually had a TV show on CW not too long ago. It didn't last very long, but I could definitely see her making an appearance, especially in the upcoming Batman Brave and the Bold, which they've already stated will introduce the Bat family, which will have all the Robins, Nightwing, probably Batgirl, Batwoman. There's all sorts of different Bat female characters in the DC universe. So absolutely. So there you go.
The one from like back when with Michael Keaton and George Clooney, and they had a Batwoman in that one too.
Yeah, but Batgirl was in that. Alicia Silverstone played her back in 1997. So yeah, absolutely for sure. Yeah,
I didn't
so
know the year on that, Eric. So thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a big nerd. But yeah, definitely a lot of stuff coming up from DC. But sad to see that the Arkham series is not going to be happening anytime soon. Unfortunately,
that sucks.
It does kind of stink, but at the same time. All right, well, let's get into the biggest news topic that we were going to talk about today that I advertised. And that is, of course, coming to us from the world of pro wrestling and the Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up tomorrow. So we thought we'd do a little bit of predictions for the upcoming pay-per-view or PLE on Peacock for WWE Money in the Bank. That'll be taking place on Saturday Saturday evening. Now, I guess they're not overseas for this one. Yes, we got 5 scheduled matches for the show. We got the men's Money in the Bank ladder match with LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Jey Uso, and Chad Gable. We got the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, Zoe Stark, and Naomi. We've got a 6-man trios match between Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens versus the new Bloodline. I don't know if they've actually stated which 3 members will be wrestling in that match, but I imagine Solo Sikoa may just kind of observe in this one.
Yeah, it'll be Tama Tonga Tangaloa and Jacob.
Yeah, I would assume so too. We've got the Intercontinental Championship being defended by Sami Zayn as he takes on Braun Breaker, the killer on Monday Night Raw here. And the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line with Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. If Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest must leave the Judgment Day. And if Damian Priest wins, Seth Rollins will no longer ever be able to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship again, I guess. Maybe
while Damian's champion.
Well, I don't know if they ever actually said that.
No, he said that.
Did he?
That's
okay,
what he said.
All right, well, fair enough. So yeah, that makes most sense to me anyway. But so thoughts on the show overall, Brandon? Everybody else too?
I got a couple.
Okay.
we're about to watch one of Miranda's favorite matches.
Yeah, I know.
She fucking loved him.
I will say though, quick side note, AEW Forbidden Door had a ladder match for the TNT Championship. I noticed in that match they were not taking their time going up the ladders in that.
Nah, they was moving.
They were scooting.
Well, I should have been watching that, but AEW drives me nuts.
That show was long as hell.
It was long. I'm not gonna lie.
But anyway, back to this one though.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's winning the man. Well, it's either for me, it's out of two people. Jay and Drew.
It's Jay, in my opinion. Because for me, Drew McIntyre will be right there at the top. Here comes
And then
CM Punk,
CM Punk,
costing the title yet again. Or Drew McIntyre could win the briefcase. He's already stated, Drew McIntyre said he will cash in on this night, this Saturday, and walk away with the title. Either he wins the briefcase and then immediately loses it because of CM Punk, or he gets he costs the briefcase because of CM Punk. He doesn't get it at all. So one or the other, this will be the third time that CM Punk has cost him a title opportunity.
Those are my two for that one, and I could see it either way, either Drew winning it or Jay winning it, because I still think we got some time before Roman comes back. So Jay is gonna be busy with other shit.
Okay.
As far as the women's go, Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I would think that too. They are awful high on Lyra Valkyria, and Io Sky is always a good contender. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton probably. Do you think it might be a little too soon for Tiffany Stratton? No, she just came on the scene.
I think Tiffany's killing it right now. I really do.
I do too.
Hell, to be honest with you, all these women in here none of them are a bad choice. But I think Tiffany, and I would love for Zoe to get her time to shine. I would love for that to happen.
What if they give it to Chelsea Green, who's kind of been the proverbial quote unquote, I guess, loser on TV? Still a great talent, but it would be interesting to see her carrying that. Well, maybe for a year. That'd be interesting.
Hell, Naomi, she deserves it. Io's good. Valkyrie could easily get. But I think Zoe or Tiffany, but I think it's gonna be Tiffany. Now the 6-man though, Jacob's not losing his debut match. I promise you. The bloodline is something serious. What they did last week, and I seen it happen.
Outstanding stuff.
You saw my reaction. I said I ain't gonna tell you shit. You just gotta watch it. Jacob Fatu's a scary man.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen him wrestle before, and mind you, he's lost 40 pounds.
Oh, has he really? Okay.
Bro,
he's in great shape.
And what he could do 40 pounds heavier.
Not this guy.
Easily do that.
Oh my god!
This is what
happened to him.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, to get himself ready to look like this, he said he didn't sleep for like 2 days on purpose because he wanted it to make it look like all this shit is taking a toll on him.
Yeah.
This whole segment was masterful.
This was pro wrestling storytelling 101. Absolutely outstanding. And Paul Heyman going that extra mile.
Gets into character, like he is
down for the cause.
Here's the thing. There's no way in the world you could make Paul Heyman a babyface. Think about all the dastardly shit he's done.
He is now.
In one segment, he turned into one of the biggest baby faces. That's a non-wrestler.
For those people who don't know what a babyface and a heel is, babyface is a good wrestling. A heel is a bad guy. So it's a little bit of wrestling for you. But
I feel like that was aimed at me. I know what.
No, anybody who could be watching, not just you.
If Kathy's still here, she needs help too.
Yeah, Kathy, I'm going to educate you guys a little bit. That's what me and
in one segment,
Ty thinks he knows, but
Ty knows what he's doing a little bit.
That whole thing, that segment where he looked at fucking Solo and he said, I acknowledge you. He goes, I love you. He's a Solo, I love you. And I acknowledge you. And then there was a pause because right before he did that, Solo says to him, this is a chance for you to save your life. He says, you are not my tribal chief. By the time, and this is what I loved about Solo, the moment he said that, immediately got spiked.
Yeah, spiked, and then a diving headbutt from Jacob Fatu. Then, of course, the big power bomb through the table on the outside. Paul Heyman is 58 years old. Obviously, not in the greatest shape in the world, but we still love Paul all the same.
He was so First of all, these are two Tama Tonga and Tangaloa are not small guys.
No, all three guys. It wasn't just. It was like the old Shield power bomb. Three
But
guys.
Paul
Yeah.
Heyman was so terrified. You could see the fear on his face of taking this fucking move.
Yeah.
They weren't going to kill him. All those guys in there got respect and love for Paul Heyman. But I will say this, at his age, he took that bump like a champ.
Like a complete champion. Definitely. And now when he does come back, I imagine he'll be off for a few weeks or whatever. However long it is. And whenever Roman Reigns comes back, my assumption is before SummerSlam, so it may not be that long after all. And then he can go up against Solo Sikoa one-on-one at SummerSlam for the Tribal Chief spot, possibly. We'll see where that goes.
All right. Here real quick. I'm gonna do quick fantasy booking. Just hear me out, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Indulge me for a second. This is how, if I was booking, this is what I would do. Everybody be expecting Roman to come back before then. I don't think he does. What I think what happened is Roman has been ignoring everybody, not just like Paul hasn't been able to get a hold of him. Solo hasn't been able to. Nobody's talked to him.
Jimmy's still hurt.
If he comes back thinking it's still status quo as the way it should be. Paul's not there. He has no idea why Paul isn't there. He shows up, comes out, does the whole acknowledge me thing with the new bloodline. Commends Solo for going to get new recruits.
Well, I have one problem with this theory. That would definitely make Roman Reigns look like a moron who's not been keeping up with the product.
But why would he? He washed his hands. He lost the title and went into seclusion, wherever that was. Whatever.
You can maybe tell it that way if you did it right.
Because he hasn't had contact with anybody. Period.
Okay.
So he'd literally be walking back into the lion's den thinking he's still the lion that's in control. If you would have all those guys, including Solo, in the ring with him during an acknowledgement to where they look at Roman, but Solo's standing behind him. So when they say they acknowledge you, my tribal chief, they're not talking to him. You can clearly see that they're not talking to him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know.
Sounds like you're talking about the Lion King.
Yes.
Okay, fair.
And then eventually, when he gives it to Solo, Solo does to him what Paul did to Solo. But
it is a pack of lions type situation, so you're not that far off, to be quite honest with you.
And he just gets stomped out. Nobody comes to save him. Because why would they? You get what I'm saying?
Worse theories, I suppose, yeah.
You have to have a reason for him to for people to come to his aid. Who, Jimmy? Jimmy's not there right now. Jimmy's hurt.
Jay's probably not going to, especially if he's the Money in the Bank winner.
No.
Which,
Jay's
I mean, he can still win the Money in the Bank briefcase, still get involved in the bloodline stuff and hold that briefcase till WrestleMania or something next year and still be just fine if they do stuff at the end of the year for sure. So taking the bloodline to win this over Cody.
Bloodline's winning this.
Not to mention, I guess Kevin Owens mentioned something tonight on SmackDown. I saw a little bit before we went on the air. I guess he mentioned something about his mother being in the hospital and has been kind of fighting through some stuff. So, but he said that his mother would not be proud of him if he didn't show up to the show. So sounds like he's still going to be on both the show tonight and tomorrow. So we wish her all the best as well. Hope things are going well for Mama Owens. So yeah, I could definitely see. I don't think you'd want the new bloodline to lose their first big trios match for sure. So yeah, there'll probably be something going on there.
I say Jimmy wins the first match.
Jimmy's not in this match.
You mean Jay?
No, I'm talking about the
you mean
ladder.
Jay?
Jay, yeah.
Yeah, Jay. They're twins.
I don't show my wrestling knowledge. I don't know very much about wrestling.
Yeah, that's fine.
I agree with Brandon about the female ladder match.
Yeah. The bloodline doesn't win. Let me know. Nah, they gonna win. They gonna win.
They probably gonna win.
I've got the bloodline winning that match too, Brandon.
Now, what about the Intercontinental title match? Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn.
Braun Breaker wins.
Is that at the bottom?
Yes, the bottom left. Yes. Matt's going based just
know.
purely on look right now.
No, Braun Breaker wins.
I mean, Sami Zayn's a good wrestler. I mean,
Sami Zayn won the title at WrestleMania. It's been an okay run. It's not been.
But I think that title switches hands.
It very well could. I mean, they're definitely positioning Braun Breaker as this mega monster killer on Monday Night Raw.
But they're also showing a real mean streak side to Sami Zayn too.
Yeah. And they're playing up the underdog aspect of his great character too.
But I think Sami Zayn runs into Braun Breaker, and I think Braun Breaker wins that title.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then you give him just a dominant run against
everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
And he's going to have a lot of people lining up. We got Ludwig Kaiser, Sheamus.
When he comes back.
Yeah, well, exactly. So there'll be a lot. The main event, though, obviously Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. My theory, personally, is that Seth Rollins probably wins the title here. I think Finn Balor and the Judgment Day, they completely explode here. I don't know who's going to start it, whether it be Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan. I don't know who's going to cause this, but I think maybe Finn Balor finally turns on Damian Priest. He wants to be the leader of the Judgment Day. Damian Priest goes off to be the babyface to fight back for the championship he got screwed out of. And then they do Seth Rollins versus Gunther at SummerSlam. But at the same time, I don't know how I feel about it just because setting up Seth Rollins to just win and then maybe potentially lose it right to Gunther would be kind of weird for me too. So
I don't think it's about being the leader of Judgment Day. I think they both kind of hit each other's nail on the head type situation. I think for Finn, it's jealousy. And then for Damian Priest, it's I'm trying to prove I don't need you to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to do it on my own. Yeah.
So like I understand what you're saying about the Judgment Day interference, but I still think that he finds a way to win this. This way you take Seth out of the picture for a little bit. But you're right. SummerSlam's around the corner, and then he loses it at SummerSlam to Gunther.
That Seth just come back from injury too. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't see him necessarily leaving anytime soon. But to me, it just, nothing against Damian Priest, but Seth Rollins versus Gunther on the SummerSlam card sounds like a little bit more of a marquee matchup. No disrespect to Damian Priest because he's great as well. It could be Damian Priest who finally has had enough with the Judgment Day and he turns on them too. It could
What
be
if
just
it's Priest versus Gunther?
It might be.
It could be a three-way match for all I know.
But here's the thing, though. Let's not pretend like Damian Priest is not a good wrestler. He's a hell of a wrestler.
He absolutely.
He carried Bad Bunny to one of the fucking best celebrity matches I've seen in a long time.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just pointing out the fact that in some fans' eyes, Priest has not reached that upper echelon level just yet. He's had a good run. But
he can't get there if he's not given the opportunity either.
I agree with that.
That's right, Brandon.
You can't make a star and then go, well, he hasn't done anything. No shit. Because you bitch about him. Like, give the man time. His mic work is great. His in the ring shit is great. Like, let the man do his thing.
Well, it's like which we'll talk about in just a second. When Will Ospreay wrestled Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door last weekend. Swerve obviously won against Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay talked about how he wanted to lose to Swerve Strickland in real life because he didn't want that stigma of Swerve Strickland just kind of be the placeholder of holding the title for Will Ospreay at All In. So in the same regard here, maybe Seth Rollins goes into this, loses willingly to Damian Priest to get Damian Priest even further over. If that's the case, it's good business in my opinion. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But any other thoughts on Money in the Bank?
Other than I would love for Jay to win just so he could say yeet in the bank. I'm down for it.
That's going to happen. I mean, they put him on the poster for a reason with that yeet in the bank. I mean, that's going to happen, right? You would think.
That ladder match is going to be
got some great talent. I wouldn't be upset if they give it to LA Knight or Chad Gable or
even Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I mean Andrade I like too, but they've not done a whole lot with him since he's returned to WWE just yet. He'll be in here and have a great spots, and Drew McIntyre would be great with it too. That match could go either way in my opinion.
Here's the thing too. Let's not sleep on the women. The Money in the Bank matches, the shit that they be doing to each other too is like, all right.
Wrestling is in a great spot right now if you're a fan, and if you're not and you're wanting to maybe check it out, I highly recommend that you do so.
This bloodline match though, they should beat the living shit out of each other because this is just literally
it's gonna
six
be
guys who hate each other.
Big war, no doubt about it.
Please believe though, this is going to be Jacob Fatu's coming. Like he is going to show
it's coming out party.
Everybody what they've been missing and what the WWE has been missing.
All because of Vince McMahon's mismanagement. That's for sure.
Well, Jacob Fatu, like I'm telling you, if you have never seen any of his indie work, do yourself a favor and watch just one of his.
Who's in the ladder match on the bottom left?
It's not a ladder match. It's just got ladder. It's just got ladders.
The one above it.
Well, that's not a ladder match.
It's not a ladder match.
The only two ladder matches are at the very top because it's just a ladder match pay-per-view, so they put ladders in the background.
Bloodline match.
Yeah.
Who's in all that?
Tama Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Probably
Solo's there.
Yeah, against Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it'll be a 3-on-3 eventually. We don't know which 3 of the guys on the right yet, but it'll probably be the ones that Brandon mentioned.
So it's just beat the crap out of each other for 20
They should.
minutes.
Pretty much,
They
it'll be a
should.
brawl. It'll be a war, no doubt about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It
They
should be a fun
literally
war, too.
should.
I mean, isn't that what wrestling is anyway?
Supposed to be.
Well,
But this
yes
whole
and
thing,
no.
but
Theoretically.
this match theoretically is one of those that where it's like, you should do away with wrestling etiquette. This should be the
fight.
old school.
I hate you.
All 3 men in the ring at one fucking time. You know what I
Destroying
mean?
the entire arena, all the
Yeah.
way up and down the stands, in the crowd, you
This
name it.
is a literal fight.
These are people that hate each other.
Pretty much. And storyline. Not real life, but definitely.
I just was curious on who all was in it. I didn't hear
Yeah.
I
Some
didn't
new
hear that
faces.
part.
Definitely some new faces in WWE, but they're pushing them to the moon because it makes a lot of sense for that bloodline storyline, which will pay off.
I told Miranda the other day, I said, "That's a lot of fucking Samoans in wrestling right now."
And deservingly
Same
so.
match, so it'd be good too.
Oh yeah, the whole show should be pretty
Yeah,
decent.
I don't see anything bad on this card.
Now, just a quick side note: only 5 matches on WWE's pay-per-view. Obviously,
Mhm.
they've been doing lesser matches, unless one of their bigger shows. Then they'll kind of go a little more all out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, AEW's is 14 matches, a little overkill, admittedly enough.
Lazy.
But would you maybe like something more like WWE with 5 matches, or something kind of in the middle, kind of like 8 matches?
If you make those 5 matches, every one of these matches, there's everybody in these matches have a story attached to something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Every one of them has a story attached to it. If AEW did that, every match had repercussions for somebody in this fucking ring.
Well, I think
It
they
made-
pretty well have done that. It's
What
not
I'm-
been that bad.
What I'm saying is, think about the bloodline. You think about where Sammy and Braun are. You think about the story between what's going on with Priest, the Judgment Day, and Seth Rollins. Zoe Starks never getting her chance. This is her shot. Naomi coming back to the company that she left to prove this is her time. There's way
There's a lot
more
there.
tied into just
It's
a
far
match.
better storytelling than they've had in the last decade, no doubt about it.
Hands down.
Top to bottom. Because under Vince McMahon, a lot of times it'd be like, all right, we got the main event stuff at the top, and everything
Yep.
below it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Now everything matters on the show, what I love about both companies right now.
The
And speak-
Intercontinental title has so much
Prestige.
behind it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As it should be. It always had until the last 15 years or so. So glad to see it's getting its relevance back for sure. But
And I'm
speaking
trying
of
to eat.
yeah, speaking of the other company, though, I thought it would be interesting. Speaking of storytelling, we got some major returns this week. Britt Baker returned on the left to challenge Mercedes Moné, probably at AEW All In, their WrestleMania this year, for probably the TBS Championship. These 2 women cut some of the best promo work I've seen on AEW television between 2 women so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Miranda hated Mercedes' outfit.
Oh,
Wait, does that belt say IBS on it?
No, it says I.
Yeah, it was freaking ridiculous.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's New Japan's.
Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NJPW is what it
This
actually.
is NJ
The lighting kind of, it's kind of holding it right now, but
He
for
said-
sure.
Oh no, you're talking about the TBS title. All right, yeah. No, it says
no, it's
TBS.
TBS.
on it.
It says IBS. And I thought maybe they were trying to like start an outreach program for those that struggle with IBS or something. I don't know.
But I think that's going to be.
God damn it! Andy.
They're doing a great job of building up the All In pay-per-view in August, including the return of Adam Hangman Page, who returned since he's been out since March to participate in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I think he could potentially win this tournament and challenge his arch rival Swerve Strickland at All In, or we could be getting Bryan Danielson, who is in his final year before he retires as a full-time competitor, challenging for the AEW World Title, who he's yet to win. So we could be getting a triple threat trios match or anything in that regard. So there's a good storytelling there, as well as we finally got the full-blown heel turn of MJF turning on Daniel Garcia. MJF is best when he is a full-blown douchebag, scumbag on AEW. So this is great in my opinion. So they're definitely kind of accelerating some of their plans a little bit when it comes to their biggest show coming up in about 6 weeks time or so. So I think in that regard, I think AEW is on the right track. Their attendance is up a little bit. The ratings have come up this week as well to a degree. So hopefully this will continue their momentum heading into their biggest show of the year. Any thoughts on these big time surprises and returns?
I can't say the MJF thing was a surprise.
Well, it shouldn't be, no, but getting
When
back to
he
what
got-
works.
When he got snubbed the week before by Will Ospreay, coming out and saying what he said about Daniel Garcia, this, that, and the third, you could see it in his face. He was not okay with that shit.
Yeah, and they
So,
played that.
I just want to
as
say
well.
this. He looks like a young. He looks like a young Wolverine.
He kinda does.
I didn't want to say
Yeah,
it.
young Hugh
I didn't want to
Jackman.
say it. I was like, "Dude, he looked
Yeah.
like Wolverine."
Little
Like,
mutton
this
chops
picture is
there.
Crazy. Yeah, I said this picture crazy as
Yeah.
hell.
Hey, if he could get that role for the Hugh Jackman's replacement, he probably would too. But
I'm a good candidate for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Maybe he's
this.
gonna play Wolverine in the next X-Men.
He
Yeah,
might.
that's exactly what we said. Yeah,
I'm
So-
gonna say this. MJF is one of the many bright spots for me when it comes to AEW. I love what he does in the ring. He keeps it real simple, but like when I say simple, I don't mean like in the sense of like boring. You know what I mean?
Right.
His move sets are grounded for the most part. I like his whole routine. It's not like Jericho. Jericho's moveset at this point, if you've seen Jericho wrestle one time, you've seen him wrestle 1,000.
I mean, the man's in his 50s. Yeah.
Yes, but it's the same way I feel about the Bucks. I know everybody
sticks to what got him to the dance. You know, I get that.
And it's like
Brandon.
And I told you,
Look
this
at
a
Moxley's
long
face.
time ago.
Yeah,
He
what
looks
about Moxley?
constipated.
On that poster, that is just
All these guys are supposed to look tough on this. you know?
He got
Moxley
poop.
looks like he's going to kill something.
He literally got poop.
All I want to say about this is All In is about what 5-6 weeks away at this point,
Yep.
a little less than 2 months. And already they've set up 4 matches for
Is
the
Adam
pay-per-view.
coming back by then?
Adam Cole or Adam Page?
Copeland.
Oh, well, that's one. I was about to say there's 3 major injuries. Well, 4. 3 or 4 major injuries in AEW that have yet to return. Adam Copeland is probably going to be out for a while because I think he's going to be probably good 9-10 months, probably easily. So
Yeah.
probably not for this show. Adam Cole very well could come back at some point. Hopefully he does. Obviously he had a big shattered ankle. We'll see about that one. And Jamie Hayter and Kenny Omega. Those are the 4, in my opinion, that AEW is really hurting with right now. But everybody else seems to be getting healthy and coming back around. Oh, Julia Hart on here as well. She's also kind of injured at this point. So there's a few
Darby Allin got hit by a bus.
and Darby Allin, yeah,
That
got hit
dude
by a
on-
bus. Yeah, for sure. The guy on the top.
That dude on the bottom right, he looks like he belongs on Live PD.
This guy here, or right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's John Moxley.
That's
one
That's
of
what I
the
was
toughest.
saying, man. Look at his face.
What?
The person that's in the center, that's like black and white,
No one's knocking.
is that a dude?
No.
Oh, that's Tony Storm. That's not. But
No,
bring me back to
I
my
don't like
original
her
point.
either.
Bring
Yeah.
bring back.
Wait, you said Tony Storm? That's not a dude?
No, it's
not.
That's a
It's
woman,
a
man.
woman.
Do I have to prove it to you?
She got
I mean,
some thick
shit.
thighs,
I
boy.
mean,
Oh,
I
my
mean
gosh.
that. Just saying, that looks
not a
pretty.
Nah,
Which
That's
person
not
are
a
we
woman?
talking about?
You
yeah,
said
that's a woman. That's not a man. That's a
Aaron,
woman.
Aaron,
which-
does this look like a dude to
Yeah,
you?
that's her.
Hey,
I mean, I
you
know it's a 20
It is,
I know it's
it
like,
is 2024. Anything's
know.
possible.
I get
Nah, that's a woman.
but I mean, if that's the case, I commend her surgeon because holy crap. But no, that is 100% grade A, beautiful lady right there.
Australian at that.
For those of you who wonder
That's
why
what
I
I
watch
call a
pro
beautiful
wrestling, no, I'm just kidding. But
Wow.
Oh, it's a lady.
it's a lady. But the one thing I just wanted to point out with 4 major matches pretty much already in the bag for All In, we've got Toni Storm and her long rivalry slash facing her protege Mariah May. That'll be for the women's world title. We've got Will Ospreay versus MJF. They set that up this last couple of weeks as well, as well as Swerve Strickland defending his title against either Bryan Danielson or Hangman Page. I mean, Jay White's still in that picture as well, but he'll probably end up losing on Saturday on Collision.
That
somehow.
sucks. Jay White. They should put some more respect on Jay White.
Well,
Jay
I'm
White
sure he'll
is-
get. I think the patriarchy is going to get involved there because Christian Cage has got his eyes set on the trios championships that the Bang Bang Gang have personally at this point. And then of course they've got Mercedes Moné
Bang,
against
bang, ski to ski.
Britt Baker. So good to see that at least I've already got 4 of their major card already laid out multiple weeks in advance. So that's a good thing in my opinion. So just one.
Real quick.
Uh-huh.
Can we talk about how fast you had those pictures ready?
Hey, I wasn't
Dude,
Hey,
this is-
it was like he knew
Oh.
this was about to come up.
all I did once Aaron brought it up was go onto X and type in Tony Storm bikini. That's all I had to do. Right there. I mean, it's not hard to find. It's not.
You could have just typed in Tony Storm.
Well, you could have typed in Tony Storm or
It just auto corrected to bikini.
yeah, sure, why not?
Hey, he said
You meant to
soon as
say
they came-
bicycle. But
As soon as it came up, yeah, I'm sure it did. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it did.
it came up. Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
But he did. He just like, oh hell, here.
Yeah, for sure.
Get them filed away for later, I'm
bikini
sure.
shots. He said, "Yeah, you got it."
That's messed up.
That's his desktop background right there.
Expect any less out of me.
All right, well that'll do it for the pro wrestling segment on the show, which brings us to the ever more lovable news and politics. So let's go check it out a little bit. Time to wake up, Miranda. Okay, so it has not been a real and Horton dipped. There is. Hey, but this week should be comedy gold. Let's be fair. So it's not been a good week for the Democrats and the left wing for sure. As we all know that Joe Biden pretty much crapped the bed and his pants at the debate this last Thursday. No doubt about it. And of course, all week long, the Democrats have been trying to run cover for the most part. And everybody's asking about whether or not Joe Biden can stay awake, whether he's having mental issues and things like that. So much so that even the White House press secretary is being asked about it, and she's been denying. And even so much so that one of the reporters asked for Joe Biden, why can't he come out and just tell us himself if he's cognitively there? Because obviously he doesn't like taking unscripted questions, which is a concern in and of itself, if you ask me. So here is what happened when the reporters kind of pressed the press secretary a little bit about it.
And we would invite the president to come here and tell us that directly.
Noted, Kelly.
But
he's awake.
That's inappropriate.
As you heard from your colleague, the president of the WHA, that's inappropriate. Thank you, Kelly.
It's actually a relatively, common sense thing to be questioning here. If you couldn't hear, the one reporter asked, we would like to invite the president to come out here and tell us. And the second reporter said, if he's awake at this point.
Why did you shut him up?
Well, that's the thing. The press usually is very friendly to Corinne Jean-Pierre and the Democrats, but it's gotten to a point now to where even the press is starting to push back. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Kathy's obviously happy for the news and politics segment. She's not a big pro wrestling fan for sure. So welcome back, Kathy. Even though she did say she's been here the whole time. So kudos to her.
Thanks for sticking it out, Kathy.
Exactly. But even Joe Biden himself has been doing some of the rounds here to try to convince the United States of America and all of its voters that he's doing okay. Well, he actually did a telephone, I think it was a telephone interview, where he stated pretty much, now this one I'll give him a little bit of slack on, but it was kind of funny. It sounds as if he stated he was the first black woman vice president in history. So let's listen to this.
I remember as a Catholic kid growing up in an area where we didn't like, Catholics didn't get elected. I'm the first president elected statewide in the state of Delaware when I was a kid. Well, I looked at John Kennedy and said, well, he got elected. Why can't I get elected? By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
The United States of America, forgetting the word of as he normally does when he says that. Now, I'm going to give him a little bit of credit there just because it sounded like he was trying to say he was the first vice president to serve with the black president, the first, black woman to serve as a vice president, even though Kamala Harris is technically not black or African-American, really. Her mom and dad's descent is not African-American. And then, of course, he wants to, talk about how he put a black woman on the Supreme Court, which I believe already existed before he got there anyway. So, it's just him again, just kind of rambling incoherently to a degree. I tried to decipher that the best I could.
He sounds drunk.
Yeah, it's kind of par for the course at this point. And he did some rounds afterwards, even including a speech the following day after the debate where he completely blew it, and he finally looked like he was hopped up on Mountain Dew and all sorts of drugs out there, talking about how I tell the truth, and when you get knocked out, you got to get back up. And I guess he was also telling other supporters that. I guess as of today or yesterday, I think he was doing a speech in Wisconsin. It was today, as a matter of fact. And he said this.
I'll beat Donald Trump. I will beat him again in 2020. Oh, by the way, we're going to do it again in 2024.
So he said, I'll beat him again in 2020. And then he realizes his mistake and he said, I'll beat him again in 2024. So... yeah, 81 million votes, guys. 81 million votes for sure. And then as he was leaving the stage, he had this to say.
I'm going to come to the overflow room.
Did you catch what he said there? He said, "I'm going to come in the overflow room."
I'm going to come in the overflow room.
Now, I don't know if he's got children stashed back there or what's going on.
He was pumped about that.
He was excited as all hell, though. So yeah, bad choice of words, or didn't come out the way he intended, literally. I don't know.
This guy's a PR nightmare.
Not to mention, as he was, not to mention this exact same speech, he literally had some of his own supporters in the crowd with signs that say "Pass the torch, Joe," to someone else. So things are unraveling here for the Democratic Party.
Time out.
Okay.
Look at just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just the first 5 people you could see, and this sums up.
This sums up the votes for him.
Get there.
Especially the chick with the gray hair right underneath the word torch.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so thrilled to be there right now, you know? But yeah, so like I said, he's been doing the rounds, and apparently he had, I believe it aired live. They talk like they were going to air this later on after they shot it, but it sounds like they might have put it on pretty well live. He did an interview with George Stephanopoulos. He went out there to, again, try to convince the public that he is competent at this point. And I'm going to play for you a few of the clips from this interview where he just did not sound like that. In this particular clip, Biden refuses to commit to an independent medical evaluation and releasing the results of that evaluation to the American people.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do.
Every day.
No, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, well, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but.
So, yeah, so that's a no. He won't be, undergoing any cognitive evaluation or medical of any sort.
Eric,
yeah.
Why won't he go? He can't go into detail. You know why he can't go into detail? Because he was about to spill the beans.
Well, he won't go under medical evaluation because they know that if he does, the truth will get out that he is completely
he's
out of it
obviously got dementia.
Clearly.
He is acting like a person who has stage 3 dementia.
It's like when he went to the presidential debate and refused to take a drug test
So
before
the
the
real
debate began.
question is, who's running the country?
I think
they don't know.
Obama.
Well, we know it's
Because
Obama.
if they are letting him do it, yeah, well, and that's not like, all joking aside, that's not good. You know
No,
what I mean?
it's not. I'm gonna pull this up here if I could find it. I wouldn't normally would subscribe to potentially like a theory like that, but when you got Barack Obama literally during his final term was interviewed and said he would love to have maybe had a third term, which is against the rules. Barack Obama literally stated this:
"Wish like you had a third term." And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
So he flat out told you what I think may be going on right now.
Flat out told you he did.
Yeah, he flat out said it when he was still president before Trump won his first term. I've
been saying this for years, Eric.
He's got that front man now, no doubt about it.
Me too.
So, I mean, I hate to say it, this is kind of where we're at, but
Listen,
yeah.
Out of all the pictures you could have,
I know, right? I didn't make that. I don't know who did that. That was funny. That was just happenstance. I was just trying to pull up the interview, and that little deal was there. So great.
But he is. He's a front man.
Another clip from this George Stephanopoulos interview, who is no friend of Donald Trump, and it usually will cover for Joe Biden, but he will, at least in this interview, it was at least asking some tougher questions. He was still trying to cover for Joe Biden a little bit, for sure. But he stated, "Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?" And I'll let you know what, let you hear what Joe Biden said.
Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look. The whole way I prepared, nobody's fault mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. The way the debate ran, not my fault, no one else's fault. No one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Well, I just had a bad night.
I just had a bad night. That is the official Democratic narrative coming through all the mainstream media and stuff to kind of cover for Joe Biden here, because Joe Biden has officially said he's going to continue to run.
He's not had a bad night, Eric. He's had a bad year.
He's had a bad 4 years plus.
He's had a bad couple of years.
But yeah,
Dude, my 6-year-old tells a better story than that.
Well, not only that, he says, did you watch the debate afterwards again? He goes, I don't think I did. Now, whether you did or didn't you're the president of the United States. Should you not know the answer to that question?
Brandon, just go to town. I'm done with this.
My man said,
He'll be back.
He go.
I'm not
he
so
even
sure.
paused. Even the way he paused in the beginning of that shit, he said,
yeah, I'm not so sure. So this is not helping him so far. Here's another clip where Biden admits that he pushed to expand NATO, which is specifically why Vladimir Putin stated that he started the war in Ukraine. So let's check that out real quick.
Elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years?
George, I'm the guy that put NATO together in the future. No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shut Putin down.
I'm Batman.
I'm the guy that put together the South Pacific Initiative in AUKUS. I'm the guy that got 50 nations. Not only
I'm convinced he's an AI robot, and they're just programming him.
I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget.
A lot of that's disputable, but the fact that he stated, he's the guy who stopped Putin from what? As far as I know, that war's not over yet. So
he started NATO.
Well, he said he
okay. That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, he said
that's what he said.
He started to say that, and then he said expand it. He
said he started NATO.
Yeah, he did start to say that for sure.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking about how I think they want to bring Ukraine into NATO, which is what started all this. I mean, Putin is specifically said the reason why they're in this fight right now is because they're trying to push Ukraine into NATO, and that's not going to work for Putin. So,
if I could ask him who we are at war with, or like a general question.
Good luck with that.
I don't think he could answer it.
Maybe not. I mean, he's obviously struggling here with coherent thoughts for sure. It doesn't look as bad as it did on the debate night, but it's still not good, guys.
Look,
here's another one.
I'm a squirrel, and I can answer a more straightforward question than this guy can.
Squirrel. But yeah, this one here, Joe Biden says everyone is telling him to stay in the race, and he responds to that.
Every one of them, they all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. None of the people said I should leave.
But if they do,
are you sure?
Well, it's like they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down.
So that's an interesting thought. He said he'd get out of the race, but the Lord Almighty is not coming down to tell him. Well, right before we went on air tonight, there were multiple reports, and I don't know how true these are. There's multiple people out there on X who's reporting this as well. That
they're saying it was false now.
I understand, but I'm not.
Of course.
But they're saying he might have had a medical emergency on Air Force One. But there's obviously press access has been removed. There was some video going around of him getting off of Air Force One earlier today after it landed back in Delaware too. So it may be completely fake for sure. We're going to admit that. However, it's just ironic that he said that and all of a sudden maybe the good Lord came down all of a sudden to get him. I don't know. But apparently there's other reports that have dropped within the last couple of hours since we've been on the air. The Biden campaign has just canceled a fundraiser scheduled this month in Wisconsin, and several other events across the country are on the chopping block as well, according to the New York Times. So did something happen, or is this because they're just trying to get him away from looking as senile as he's looking right now? One of the two.
As far as him saying nobody said that shit, there's a lot of people from his own party telling him, "Hey, you should probably."
He clearly wasn't. He clearly wasn't watching CNN or MSNBC because they were all asking him to get out of the race this last week. So again, he's denying that they're asking for that, but he's the only one, and I believe he has to actually be the one to choose, or he does have to die if someone else was to replace him. But if that were the case, it would still be Kamala Harris, I think.
You're scared, Eric. You're scaring me.
I know that's even worse.
You're scaring me.
Well, I also want to point out something else
because there's a world where what you just said could happen.
All right, well, let Miranda go. Go ahead.
The night of the debate, everybody was saying how well it went. And then Obama come up with his tweet and said, not everybody has good days or whatever he said. And they all changed their tune.
And they started repeating that
the media got there. Yeah. They all said the same bullshit the day of the debate, the night of the debate. And then they all changed their tune saying he had to get out of the race after Obama came out.
Yep. And now that Joe has basically come out and said, he's going to continue to run this race, I guarantee you, all the people in the media, they're going to turn on a dime and they're going to get right back behind him on that bandwagon and start covering for him just as much as they've done so far. Although there's still a few more clips here from the George Stephanopoulos interview. He approaches him about his approval rating in this clip.
It was a close race. And your approval rating has dropped significantly since then. I think the last poll I saw was about 36%. The number of Americans who think you're too old to serve has doubled since 2020. Wouldn't a clear-eyed political calculus tell you that it's going to be much tougher to win in 2024?
Not when you're running against a pathological liar. Not when he hadn't been challenged in a way that he's about to be challenged. Not when people...
You've had months to challenge him.
Oh, I sure had months, but I was also doing a hell of a lot of other things, like wars around the world.
So he basically held his feet to the fire. He's like, well, you've had all sorts of time to challenge Trump, and you've not done it. Not to mention, Joe, again, in this interview, kept talking about how Trump lied 28 times or so in the interview, or in the debate, I should say. And again, we discussed here on the channel last week about how the majority of those lies were mostly exaggerations or hyperbole. A lot of things that Joe Biden flat out lied about were provable, verifiable lies. So there's a big difference there. The type of lies that Democrats like to tell end up starting wars and things like that. Stuff Donald Trump tells is like when he's trying to sell a big, real estate, building he just built or something like that to kind of sell it to his crowd. That's just, it's a little bit, it's a tactic.
When did they air this crap on TV?
My man talked about his golf game, said it was garbage.
Yeah, exactly. They aired this on ABC this evening, Matt.
That was this evening, Eric?
That was this, today, this evening, this afternoon, whatever it was, sometime today.
I'm just saying this guy can't possibly have ratings.
Well, George Stephanopoulos also asked him about whether or not, his campaign, was going well. And then Joe Biden tried to bring up the argument that he has a bigger rally crowd than Donald Trump, which is laughable at best. So here we go.
So today, how many people can you draw crowds like I drew today? You find me any more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that.
He can draw a big crowd, but what's he say? Who's he have? I'm the guy supposedly in trouble.
Because you are in trouble, Joe. Because the type of crowds Donald Trump is drawing are this. I mean,
my man filled up an airport runway with people.
And this is the type of crowd that Joe Biden is drawing today in Wisconsin, where he gave that speech this afternoon. About 4 rows deep and about 3 rows deep in the back. So, okay, you want to talk about crowds? Sure.
You got it, boss.
I mean, this is a Trump crowd. So, I mean, brother, do we need to say any more here? Again, 81 million votes, guys. But we all know the Democrats love to use, trying to change the law and voter ID laws and things like that, and then counting dead people multiple times on their ballots and stuff. And they're obviously wanting to change the rules, and they're doing it again, guys. They did it in 2020 with COVID, and now this drops today from Wisconsin, the exact same state that Joe Biden was just at. They decide some conservatives a few years ago after the loss in 2020 changed the fact that you can't use ballot drop boxes because you can actually put many ballots in there that are the same vote over and over again that can be counted more than once. And now that they've got some liberal judges on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, now they've overturned that to allow drop boxes once again in Wisconsin. So free and fair election in 2020, huh? This right there, this type of situation. And when you're changing the rules like this, getting rid of voter ID laws and allowing absentee ballot box stuffing and things like this, this is how it was stolen in 2020. And they're trying to do it again already. I mean, ironic that Joe Biden was just there. I mean, did he have a discussion with these Wisconsin Supreme Court judges potentially?
Well, this is the only way he's going to win is by cheating. That's pretty much how he won last time too.
Yeah, but remember, us right-wing conspiracy theorists, supposedly online, who were just using their brain and thought that this could be a potential thing here, were called lunatics, nut jobs. We got censored on YouTube. We got flagged on X or removed all together. This sort of stuff's been going on since 2020. Remember, Joe Biden even said that they have put together the greatest voter fraud agency in history back in 2020.
I'm going to be interested if Wisconsin will be a.
Well, it's a swing state. It's one of those states that could actually decide the election, which is why this is happening there. If it comes down to Wisconsin, they're going to try to pull the wool over our eyes again.
Eric, have you noticed though that Biden is going to these states like it's like methodical?
Well, it's normal for a campaign to go to a swing state that could be determined one way or the other to try to get voters, but
Trump's
this
in
is shady.
New York, right? Am I right? Trump was in New York.
Well, that was because he had to be mostly.
Okay,
but he was also trying to win over
his opportunity there.
Oh yes, he did. He tried to. Yeah, he was doing
But
rallies in New York.
He's not going to these Wisconsins. He's
he
not
will.
Going.
He will.
He will eventually.
Yeah, he will.
He will.
But,
yeah.
I'm showing you that.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you
Everybody's
that-
got to make the stops, and they'll eventually get around to it.
I'm just showing you that Biden is prioritizing it because he's showing how behind he is.
Well, that too, but not only that, people like Trump will not go to. Well, I mean, he goes to Iowa a bit because I believe the RNC and stuff's there, but he probably won't come to Indiana much because Indiana will most likely vote for Trump. They usually go red anyway. Certain states you don't have to visit because it's already in the bag for the most part. But now some of those states could flip if you neglect them too much.
Did Biden visit the Supreme Court judges while he was there?
That's my point. Yeah, it's like, why all of a sudden the same day that he's in town, all of a sudden this flips on a dime to allow for cheating and things like that.
The prosecutor in Ukraine?
Yeah. I mean, not only that, the Democrats like to say they want to change voter ID laws because they feel like it's racist and black people don't know how to get IDs, which is racist as hell to even say. They say they're trying to make it easier and be less discrimination when it comes to elections. But this is actually the real reason is to kind of influence elections and interfere with it as they try to blame Donald Trump for it, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's kind of what's been going on with Biden's camp this week. I got another political thing to get into in just a second. But thoughts on all that?
Is it deer season yet?
I think when is that? In the fall, right?
I'm ready
October
for election.
1st. It's a Tuesday.
I'm ready for a Tuesday in November. I'll tell you that much right now. So I just hope it is too big to rig, as Donald Trump says it, and hopefully it'll be that case because they're going to try to.
I just hope if Biden drops out, who's going to replace him? Hillary?
Newsom? Hillary?
I've heard all the above. I've heard Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris, the woman who literally said like a week or so ago, talking about community banks. Community banks are banks that are in the community.
She like Madden's cousin? Here's a guy that likes football.
Yeah.
Man, we talk about what was she saying? The winds of change, or
or the winds, or the time. We have to use the time that we're given. But time is always passing by. We have to take care of the time. The time is now. It's like just repeating the same word over and over again. It's ridiculous, but My bigger fear is like if Michelle Obama decided to run, what she stated many times she won't. That would, to me, be the biggest threat to Donald Trump because of obviously the love for the Obamas. For whatever reason, people love them out there. Or Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, to me, is a more radical Democrat than Joe Biden.
Gavin Newsom scares me.
Not only that, Gavin Newsom is a competent liar. He can actually do the job that Joe Biden is failing to do right now. And as people as he is, Gavin Newsom wouldn't do that. So hopefully it's Joe Biden, as they say. The Democrats have made their bed. I hope they lie in it with Joe Biden right now. So we'll see what happens come November. But right now, he's staying in it. So maybe that'll work out good for us.
They're panicking because they know something is wrong.
Yeah,
they've known something is wrong.
Yeah,
they've known that they know now.
This is the first panic, and
because they couldn't hide it this time. The whole world saw it.
They did this with Hillary too, because they thought Hillary was going to win. They were so sure.
Yeah, they thought Trump was a joke.
Going to cheat and win, and when it didn't happen, everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world."
Well, they didn't feel like they needed to cheat with Hillary because they thought it was in the bag because Donald Trump, he's not serious about running.
Yeah,
he ain't going to win the presidency.
Do this serious.
And now that they know he's serious, they're like, "Oh shit!" It's like,
I want to know one thing. Like, it's a legit question. Where do you get this idea that Trump is this big dictator? He's gonna take all this, that, and the third. When he already did this shit once before, and none of that shit happened then.
Yeah, we had 4 years, and he didn't do anything dictatorial in nature. They say, "Oh, he packed the court." No, what happened was we had a couple Supreme Court's judges who stepped down, and he did his job as president and filled those seats. You just don't like the fact that it was filled by conservative judges. That does not mean he packed the court or stacked the.
You're still not explaining it to me. Like, you're not answering my question. The question is, why is it they say he's going to do all this evil shit if he gets reelected? But again, he was already there for 4 years once before.
Yeah.
And none of that shit happened.
Well, thank you for that segue.
Where is this coming from?
This is the segue to the next political story I want to get into, which kind of got buried a little bit with all the Joe Biden stuff going around. But the Supreme Court made a monumental, huge ruling on, I believe it was Monday, if I'm not mistaken, Monday or Tuesday. The Supreme Court ruled that presidents have absolute immunity for official acts. Now, the actual ruling also stated that presidents do not have immunity from unofficial acts. Now, while those will be determined by lower courts if a president ever it gets to brought charges upon them and things like that for doing something. So all these people on the left and Democrats were stating, well, now that, the Supreme Court has ruled that presidents have absolute immunity, which is not what they said. Absolutely. They're only reinforced established law that's been in effect for the last 40 years or so already, stating that presidents have partial immunity. But we've never had to see the Supreme Court step in and announce this because we've all understood it's absolute common sense to not prosecute political opponents because you don't like them at this point. That's all the judges of the Supreme Court said. You can't go after your political opponents just because you don't like them. That's all they stated here. If you have a legit reason.
The Clintons in years past.
Well, they just killed their people.
They killed their political opponents.
Well, we got a lot of people after this ruling on the left and the Democrats calling for the assassination of Supreme Court judges and Donald Trump because they got their little feelings hurt and didn't get their way. Harry Sisson, one of the Democratic National Convention propagandists who gets paid by the DNC, stated on X, according to the Supreme Court, Biden could now send in SEAL Team 6 to take out all the Supreme Court justices. He could send in the military to take out Trump as well, since Biden has official immunity for official acts now, which would not be an official act, by the way. It would be a completely unofficial act. Biden would go to jail for that.
Why would you say that?
Because they're lunatics.
Unhinged.
Unhinged, exactly. We had a bunch of other Democrats.
Because he thinks he can.
Yeah, he knows he ain't going to get any consequences anyway. You got people like Kathy Griffin holding up severed heads of Donald Trump. No consequences. Madonna calling for blowing up the White House. No consequences there. Johnny Depp saying, well, when's the last time an actor assassinated a president? No consequences there. These people can say what they want with impunity, would not have any consequences. It's sickening.
So why do they have this assumption that that's what Trump did or would have done?
Or would do? Because they for whatever reason, they can't see past their own Trump derangement syndrome. Things like that. It's just, it's sickening. This guy stated, if Joe Biden
a lot of
them,
I think, are guilty of treason.
Yeah. I mean, that's a treasonous act. This is
why would
Yeah. Well, Harry Sisson, when he wrote that tweet I just read to you, literally got a response from one of the Trump campaign managers, said, expect a visit, referring to the FBI or the CIA or Secret Service knocking on his door, as they should, because he literally threatened a former United States president and sitting Supreme Court judges. So I hope he does face consequences for that.
Why?
Probably not going to happen, but it was definitely a thing. This guy
That
stated
was a threat.
Yeah, this guy stated if Joe Biden declared today that November's election is canceled and ordered the military to keep him in power, would that be an official act? Absolutely not. That goes against the Constitution. It would be an unofficial act. So no, Joe would not be able to do that, and nor would Trump, as a matter of fact. We also we got a few more here. We got this guy stating, I strongly encourage Joe Biden to take advantage of his absolute immunity, which he has now lawfully granted to him by Trump's Supreme Court justices, to do whatever official acts he needs to do in order to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president, hinting at assassination there. And Bradley P. Moss stated the Supreme Court just gave Biden unequivocal immunity to order the military to take action against Trump. Do it today, right now. So
that's not you motherfuckers.
They don't understand the law.
Miranda,
they just think that they because the conservatives on the justice or on the Supreme Court gave him, a win in his election interference and 34 felony count cases against Stormy Daniels and all this stuff. They are not happy with it. They're just throwing a big temper tantrum at this point. And we even got this woman. I think it's a woman. She is some sort of comedian. I couldn't tell you her name, but again, calling for the death of Donald Trump.
Hat, though.
Done. I'm done. I'm fucking seriously done.
Cool. Bye.
The Supreme
Bye.
Court
All right. Whatever.
has pissed me off so much right now. Like, so much. Joe, you're a reasonable man. You don't want to do this, but here's the reality. This is a fucking war. This is a war now, and we are fighting for our fucking country. And these assholes are going to take it away. They're going to take it away. Fuck you, Clarence Uncle Thomas. Fuck you. Joe, you now have the right to take that bitch Trump out. Take him out, Joe. If he was Hitler and this was 1940, you'd take him out. Well, he is Hitler, and this is 1940. Take him the fuck out.
If it was 1940, nobody
Blow
would
him
listen to
up.
you because you're a woman. So there's that.
Blow him up, or they'll blow us up.
What are you talking about?
It's anything but facts, actually.
Why is it so
Is she
fucking
high?
extreme with these people? Like,
Look at your eyes.
Yeah, look at the
Oh my
craziness.
God. Listen,
Now these are the people who are the tolerant ones now. You're not allowed to have hatred in your heart now, but if they have hatred in their heart, perfectly okay.
oh my God.
So any of you who vote Democrat,
These are the people that we need a Salem silence back.
yeah, straight jacket for this person
They
right
need
here.
to
be in
And all those people who
hospitals.
tweeted.
And she called him Uncle
Yeah.
Tom.
Clarence
Do you
Uncle Tom.
realize? Do you
Yeah.
realize? Like, this is the misconception a lot of people have about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was not the bad guy. You get what I'm saying? Uncle Tom was a good guy in this situation.
Yeah, I agree with Kathy on this one too, talking about the ants rising up to go after the grasshopper, as it were, in A Bug's Life from Pixar and Disney. Nice little depiction there and a little bit of an homage to what's going on here. But yeah, if you're voting Democrat, you need to understand these are the type of people, whether you think you are or not, you're supporting. Do you want to literally see the assassination of a former president or a sitting president or sitting Supreme Court justices or anybody? The left advocates for violence when they don't get their way. Plain and simple. The right got out of hand one time on January 6th, and even then they weren't trying to overthrow
But what
the
is their
government.
way? What do they want?
To
They
live the
want Trump.
cushy life that they've been living. What are you talking about? They want handouts. They want free shit. They want you to bow to them, call them.
But
That's what they want. They don't.
And you're a bigot if you don't, Brandon.
You realize she just called what she considers a fucking slur to a black dude.
Well, then you know what?
on the
That's what they're
fucking-
afraid of.
You get what I'm
because-
saying?
Because you don't agree with them. That's the only reason she did that.
But
Not only
again,
that-
it's not even a proper fucking slur because, like I said, Uncle Tom was the hero in the fucking story. It wasn't him that he's the one that helped free the fucking slaves.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, so you're not even doing that part right.
Yeah, and not to mention Clarence Thomas.
ain't doing
Part of
none
the
of
reason
it
why they
right.
don't. Part of the reason they don't like him, obviously, a lot of times he makes rulings that the left doesn't like because he disagrees with the left, which is again not a crime to disagree with the left because you don't get your way doesn't mean you got a right to threaten people. Number two, Clarence Thomas's wife, and I guess Clarence Thomas himself at his house flew an upside down American flag, which the leftists and the Democrats are trying to say was a January 6th flag to support the insurrection. No, an upside down American flag means the country is in distress. That's all that
It's
means.
a distress call.
But nobody is taking it that way except for these crazy
My
lunatics
damn
on the
Twitter
left.
picture is.
Yeah, I mean it's lunacy at this point. Not to mention we had
She
Joe
needs to read a
Biden.
book.
Joe Biden come out and also responded to this. But before I play you Joe Biden's response to the Supreme Court immunity, to point out the hypocrisy of this old asshole, I want to show you guys the response that Joe Biden had the night that Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony accounts for the whole Stormy Daniels case and the hush money trial. This was his response and praising the judicial system and the justice system in this country.
Good afternoon.
He's so happy here.
Before I begin my remarks, I just want to say a few words about what happened yesterday in New York City. The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case. And it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens, 12 Americans, 12 people like you, like millions of Americans who served on juries. This jury is chosen the same way every jury in America is chosen.
Okay.
In the process that Donald Trump's attorney was part of, the jury heard 5 weeks of evidence, 5 weeks. And after careful deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. They found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts. Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works.
This is the important part.
And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America.
Now, it's irresponsible, it's destructive or dangerous to question a judicial ruling because you don't like the verdict. Did I hear that right? Is that what he said?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, a huge part of the people you want to get to vote for you experience a different justice system, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, here is Joe Biden talking out of both sides of his mouth this week, responding to the presidential immunity ruling by the Supreme Court justice. It's a 4-minute clip, so we're going to play some of it. We're not going to play all of it. But he's basically vilifying and demonizing the Supreme Court because he does not like the ruling. So here he's being dangerous and irresponsible right here, saying basically throwing the political equivalent of a temper tantrum.
The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character. Because you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency, you also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office of the presidency. This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. Today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed.
No, it didn't.
For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do.
Lie.
This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States.
Again, no.
The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation.
Now he's going to leave out context.
And gutting voting rights and civil rights, to taking away a woman's right to choose, to today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation. Nearly 4 years ago, my predecessor sent a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol
He didn't,
to
though.
stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day. Attack on the police, the ransacking of the Capitol, a mob literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
You don't know
Gallows erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence.
That's wild.
To say it's one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day.
But I thought he was
The
already a
American people
convicted felon.
deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely. It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation. So now the American people have to do what the courts should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior.
Oh, we will.
The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence to preserve his power is acceptable.
No.
Perhaps most importantly, the American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it.
Such a lie.
You know, the outset of our nation, it was the character of George Washington, our first president, to find the presidency. He believed power was limited, not absolute. And that power always resides with the people, always. Now, over 200 years later, today's Supreme Court decision, once again, it will depend on the character of the men and women who hold that presidency that are going to define the limits of the power of the presidency, because the law will no longer do it.
Bull.
I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years, but any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law. I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote. So should the American people dissent. I dissent. May God bless you all.
Some unity he just spouted right there. We all need to dissent from this decision. So great way of bringing the country together, Unifier Joe. Awesome job. Not to mention he wants to talk about, we should respect the decision of the court. We need to respect that all presidents have a limit to their power, right? We should not overstep our bounds and respect the justice system and the Supreme Court, right? Until it doesn't go their way, then they want to throw a hissy fit here. This is also the same Joe Biden who literally said the Supreme Court blocked me when it comes to student loan forgiveness, and he decided to push that through anyway and said they blocked me, but they didn't stop me. So who is the dictatorial king here? Is it Donald Trump or is it Joe Biden?
I'm at the same spot with Joe Biden as I was with Cook when I quit. I'm going to quit politics until after the damn election because I can't with him.
But the real reason they're mad, though, it's not so much that they ruled against him or that they ruled for Trump. It's the fact that the court case that was against Donald Trump with Jack Smith, it's pretty much obliterated now. Mm-hmm. And not to mention Judge Merchan, who just ruled on the 34 felony convictions for Donald Trump, has now stayed the sentencing for Donald Trump from July 11th, which was the original date, to now September 28th, because for a couple reasons. One, let's got a lot of people talking about how the Democrats want to push it back closer to the election to kind of be more in the forefront of everybody's mind, because Hunter Biden's trial as well for his tax evasion is going on the same month. Not to mention this ruling is also being stayed, and the sentencing for Donald Trump is being stayed because some of the evidence that was brought against Donald Trump in that Stormy Daniels hush money trial was evidence that would now be ruled under the presidential immunity under the official acts of Donald Trump's presidency. So the case was, and technically, and the verdict that was rendered should be null and void at this point, because the evidence that was presented should now not be allowed in court. because of this ruling. This is why they're pissed.
You realize if Trump was never president, that whole Stormy Daniels shit you would not know about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, so this.
You do realize if Trump was never president, we'd probably be all dead by now.
It's not be a good
That's
place.
also true.
And,
but I'm just saying, none of this shit is in the greater scheme. Like it's all bullshit. Like it's desperate. You look at his face at the end of that whole conversation, like when he was done talking, he looks like a lost fucking puppy.
Yeah. They're just mad that they weren't able to go get Trump.
I have a lost puppy on my lap. You want him?
Yeah, I'll take him.
They're just mad they weren't able to be like, all right, you January 6th, you're guilty. Go to straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And now the Supreme Court is abiding by the Constitution. You know, that pesky little document that Democrats want to rip up and throw in the shreds. That stopped them. That's what they're pissed about. They're mad at America, not Donald Trump.
What do you think about the whole Mike Pence thing?
Mike Pence.
Biden mentioned the whole Mike Pence thing. And you know what? I mean,
he was in a tough spot. I'm not going to fully
he's in a tough spot.
Go against Mike Pence.
But
lay down.
But here's the thing, though.
All right. Go lay down.
There was some legitimate.
Do you ever turn your back on your commander in chief?
Well, I mean, like I said, he's not like a ruler. So, I mean, yes, he's allowed to have his own mind and thoughts. But there was legitimate questions about whether or not he had the authority to at least delay certifying the election. That's all Trump was saying. He's not saying go out there, overturn it because I lost it. I should still be the ruler of the country. It's not what Trump was saying. Same with this whole elector stuff in Georgia. He was simply asking them to look at this deeper and actually audit this thing, and they refused to do so. Much like all the courts refused to look at the evidence. They say they all struck down Trump's objections to it, but that's because they didn't actually look into the actual evidence. They were too cowardly to actually take the whole case on. So there's a whole lot of things there that Trump wasn't necessarily wrong about, but they framed it in such a way to make Trump look more evil, as they always do. So
proceed with your video.
You ever like in one of these situations and you can see somebody say some shit that they know they don't believe it when they say it, but they wholeheartedly go in with it? You ever think to yourself, what did they got on you? What did you do? Like, for you to be so hell-bent on this, what did they got on you?
Yeah, it makes you really think.
What are you so fucking afraid of?
Well, you got to remember this, too. Now, this presidential immunity thing, again, President Biden, in his speech, never once mentioned the words official and unofficial acts, which was what the ruling was all about. He just wanted to lie to the American people and fearmonger and say that Donald Trump has absolute immunity for any of his actions, right? This also saves President Biden for when he leaves office. Donald Trump can now not use the DOJ to go after Biden. So Democrats and leftists should actually be happy about this. Now, the only two things that I can think of that would not fall under this, unless there's some ins and outs that I'm not understanding here, that presidential immunity does not fall under the fact when you were senator or vice president. So when Joe Biden was senator and vice president and stole classified documents that Trump had all the authority to have to begin with because he was president. Presidents have that authority. Joe Biden did not. Joe Biden could be facing crimes for stealing documents, secret documents, as well as the stuff on Hunter Biden's laptop, which we now know is 100% official. That's been introduced as evidence in that gun trial and will be used again probably in Hunter Biden's upcoming tax fraud trial. So those sort of things, all the dirty business dealings with Burisma in Ukraine, Biden can still face consequences.
I'm interested to see what the verdict is on that tax evasion trial.
Well, it's again, it's interesting how they moved Trump's sentencing back to that same month to kind of maybe take the heat off of Hunter a little bit, throw a little more on Trump. So we'll have to see how it goes. But again, if the law is actually followed as it should be, Trump, those 34 convictions they love to tout right now may be removed.
You want to talk about a kick in the dick? That should be your whole talking point. You lose that, then what? Where we go from there?
The Democrats have had a very, very bad week. I'm not going to lie to you here, and they're just.
I sent you an update. Laura Loomer, do you follow her?
I follow her, but I don't know how credible she is sometimes. What about you? What do you think?
A lot of times she's pretty credible. She's with Trump a lot. She
the one
says Biden's medical emergency really did take place.
Okay. Well, I know she's been saying that online. I think she's the one who originally broke it. So I don't know again how. Says massive cover up taking place at Biden headquarters right now, as they're having to explain to press why they abruptly pulled their access today when they were told they'd be traveling with Joe Biden on Air Force One. Biden had a medical emergency on the plane today, as I reported, and is now having a hard time getting up by himself. Sources tell me Biden staffers are fighting among themselves because sources tell me his staff are feeling enormous pressure by Democrat leadership to prove Biden can do his job. But some staffers worry Biden is being pushed too hard and is on the verge of collapsing. Source tells me we all know it's coming. It's a matter of when, not if. The source also says some staff are thinking about resigning because the entire campaign is now asking all staffers to lie and say that Biden is fine. Some staff apparently aren't on board with that. It's just getting worse. So take it for what you will. I don't know how accurate this is. We'll have to wait and see on this because, like I said, there was some video that kind of floated around of Biden getting off the airplane, potentially landing in Delaware after his visit to Wisconsin. However, those videos going around could be doctored to make it look like he just returned home from Wisconsin. It could be previous footage. We don't know. But if this ends up being more of a thing, we'll obviously get it confirmed at some point here in the coming days. So
the United States they're not gonna want to show him not getting up.
Well, I mean, if it happened,
that would be showing weakness. Yeah, right, yeah. Dan, you're right. They don't want to show weakness, and maybe that's just how the United States government wants it.
We picked way too many fights at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. And I'm going to reiterate here on the channel. I believe I can speak for all of us. I know we don't like Joe Biden. A lot of us think he's corrupt. He's dirty. He's a bit of an asshole. He's a big time liar. No doubt about it. However, the humanity side of myself, and I believe everybody here would agree, none of us wish ill will on the man.
No,
we want him.
No. But karma's a bitch.
Yeah, I'll say that too. And like I said, that whole thing he said earlier today about how he'll get out of the race if the good Lord comes down, but he's not coming down.
You probably shouldn't have said
that.
Be
careful what you wish for.
Not be mocked. You know what I mean? Like, that would be something I wouldn't want to be doing for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with Eric. I mean, I don't like the man, but still, I don't wish him death.
No, he is still a president. No. You don't have to respect the man; you respect the office.
That's right.
So that's the way I always look at it too. One more little thing I did want to discuss here, and then we can kind of talk about whatever before we get into the show tonight. Interestingly enough, since the debate that happened on Thursday, Donald Trump's been suspiciously quiet, which is rather good for him, actually, because he's just been kind of letting the Democrats and everything just kind of blow up, and he's just kind of sat back and just watched, as is probably the best thing he could possibly do, which is kind of what he did during the debate, to be honest with you. However, there was apparently a leaked video that came out of Donald Trump at a golf resort of some sort, probably one of his own, where he was golfing, and he did get caught by somebody on a cell phone camera bad-mouthing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this as well. But I don't think it's nearly as bad as the left are trying to make it out to be. Oh, he's such a horrible human being. He's heartless. Let's listen. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think it was leaked so much as, I mean, he retruthed it himself.
He did,
so,
which tells me he's not worried about this, because I honestly think if you've not seen this, he's not saying anything here that most of America, including us included, have not already said. And this is just him kind of being a normal human being. We all talk like this. Is it a little rude and crude? Maybe a little bit, but it depends on who you're.
No. Because they do the same shit.
Oh yeah. Shoot,
like
they've been calling.
What are we talking about? They do that shit live on national television. You miss me with your he hurt my feelings. Fuck off.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, real quick, I just realized what time it is. I need to go to bed.
Thanks for being on the show, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Later.
Okay, Joe.
See ya.
All right.
See you guys.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like Brandon said, they throw out all these things about Trump. He's Hitler. He's he's a dictator. But yet they're offended by this. Let's listen to the video.
Gave me so much. How did I do with the debate the other night? Amazing. That old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah. Hey, you can give me some money. Fuck all that. I play with you.
Put into this. Is that right? Yep. I got him out of there. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him, they probably can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting. Good. Yeah, that's amazing. Just keep knocking him out. Right?
Now, obviously, this video was taken before Joe Biden announced that he was going to be running again, so he was speculating there. But calling Putin and Xi Jinping and all these other leaders fierce, the left was trying to say he was praising dictators again. Again, calling somebody fierce, that's not a lie. That's not praise. He's just pointing out the fact that they're not to be trifled with here. Also, he said that Joe Biden, what was it, a horrible crap of a person or something to that effect? Old piece of garbage or piece of crap. Again, we all say this sort of thing. I'm sure the left has said that about Donald Trump many times over. And then talking about how Kamala Harris is fucking pathetic and a disgrace. Again, there's not much lie there. He's just speaking in general, normal terms. This is not the gotcha that the left want to say it is. So
Eric and Brandon and Miranda.
Yeah.
How is China's economy?
I'm fucking out of there.
I believe it's probably better than ours in some respects.
Better than ours? Okay.
Yeah.
How is Russia's economy?
Yeah.
Again, kind of the same situation.
Better than ours.
Even though Biden says we have the best economy in the world.
With what the man just said. He just praised two countries' leadership for running their country how they should. Am I right?
And again, that doesn't mean Trump agrees with all their actions or things like that. Right.
I didn't say that he agreed. I just said he just praised other world leaders.
I wouldn't even say praise.
I don't say he praised. He pointed out a fact.
He just said they were fierce.
I'll agree with that. It wasn't praise. He was stating a fact that
he stated a fact.
Yeah.
If you put them up, there's no way you can convince me that Biden can go on a stage and have a debate with Xi Jinping or Putin and come out on top. Period.
Right.
Nah, it's not gonna fucking happen.
No.
And they need interpreters to fucking translate what they saying.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably,
speaking of interpreters, did you guys hear what Trump did to, was it the Taliban leader?
Oh, yes, a great story. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, this is outstanding. You got to
you'll
listen to
probably
this.
find it quicker than me.
To my point before you get into
let me
that.
see if I.
Oh, I got it.
It's just
I got it too. So
the
it's
way
okay.
that he talked about him.
Okay.
I mean that I thought that was very presidential. I didn't think it was a manner that was uncalled for. He wasn't praising dictatorship. He wasn't.
No, don't get me wrong. He was cursing. He called him an old piece of crap. He called her fucking pathetic. I understand, but at the same time, you guys have said way worse about him, and you're offended by this. You have the audacity to be offended by this.
With you, you hurt my feelings at the same time you insult me on a daily basis.
It's crocodile
Fuck your
tears,
feelings, fam.
Yeah.
Give a shit.
This is the story that Miranda was talking about. Apparently, this is some I don't know if these are who are these guys. Do you remember who they were? Some of I think
Byron Daniels.
Yeah,
and
Byron Daniels.
I can't remember.
A couple guys who were in the room, I believe, when Trump met with Taliban leaders. Again, meeting with Trump or Taliban leaders or whatever does not mean you support them. It means you are dealing with other world leaders and letting them know where you stand. And Trump did just that in this story. Listen to this story from these two.
I'll give you my favorite President Trump story. This is my number one favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal, meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room.
Sure did.
Do you know for 18 months, not a single American was killed in Afghanistan? Definition of strength. That's what I'm talking about. And so you could imagine that kind of sentiment being around the world. If we have an embassy in another country, no one's going to touch it because they're going to be fearful that they're going to get a Moab on their head. That's how President Trump rolls.
Outstanding.
That is some bullshit. Like, bitch, listen to me.
Gangster. That's what that was.
I'm leaving, but I promise you, if you touch any I will fuck you up. You understand me?
Yeah.
And he looked at everybody. Tell him what I said. I'll smack the shit out of you. Tell him.
Now, you do that.
As a member of the military, would you want that as your commander in chief or Joe Biden?
Yeah, Mr. Poopy Pants over here who can't string a sentence together. I mean,
My favorite part is that
tell
he
them what
just
I
was like,
said.
I'm leaving.
Yeah,
and then peaced out.
Yeah, I'm just leaving. And you know what? My favorite part is that they didn't have to touch him for a whole month. But they was like, nah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
this man was in your house, shit on your floor, and then made you clean it up.
yeah. I mean, it makes you wonder, right? I mean, do you think Biden's doing that? You think
Yeah,
Biden's
that was-
clever enough to do that?
That was the definition of I said what I said.
I mean,
But you know what? That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about on the golf course with the whole. See, you got guys that that's like the kids control the grown-ups controlling the kids.
Yeah.
And if the kids misbehave, they get disciplined.
Yeah.
And now when you got Softy over here in office, they misbehave.
Yeah.
Guys like Putin and Xi Jinping don't come into power off of guys like Biden.
No,
Get this,
they don't.
So when you have somebody who has that level of control over their own people and move the way they move in the circles that they move in, you can't show them weakness. You can't. Because the moment you do,
Ukraine happens.
I'm gonna take what you got.
Yeah.
And ain't shit you can do about it.
Ukraine
You know what I'm
happens.
saying?
Israel happens.
Yes.
Taiwan may happen.
There was 4 years when nobody was like, yeah, you better leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Over there? Them over there? Nah.
And I'll say this, we're going to get a lot more of this possibly because after the debate and obviously everything going on with crooked Joe Biden's incompetent puzzle, as Donald Trump puts it here in this Truth Social post, Donald Trump has officially challenged Joe Biden to another debate. This time, Donald Trump doesn't want moderators. He just wants, bye, Matt. Donald Trump doesn't want moderators. He just wants Joe Biden and himself sitting down and talking about the country between the two of them. And he said anytime, anywhere, any place, like he challenged him before, and Joe Biden accepted. And this time, Joe Biden once again has accepted a challenge for another debate. So here's Biden today, I guess. As
in your former president comes again.
I hope he'll debate me. I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
He's in. Will you commit to debating him?
I'm committing now, absolutely, whether he's in or not.
Are you going to drop out of the race, or are you completely ruling that out?
Completely ruling that out.
So he says he's running, and he accepts a challenge, even though he didn't know that Trump had already challenged him. So round 2, here we come at some point or another, even though we already got one scheduled for September. Yeah, this is going to continue. So
Listen.
It's going to be a long 4 months, guys.
They learned their lesson by letting that man just talk like he did during
Yes,
the debate. He ain't about to do that shit again.
Especially without a moderator to bail his ass out.
Boy,
You think that's gonna happen?
but they ain't about to let that man just run
There ain't no
carte
way.
blanche, just say what you wanted. No.
No, Biden won't accept that. There ain't no way. I mean, hell, he wouldn't do it this time unless it wasn't for the muted microphones, CNN, and the moderators he chose, and he still looked like trash. So that's just my opinion. So, so yeah. Anything else we got for tonight, or you guys want to call it an evening? It's been 3 hours on the dot. So, all right. Well, that being said, guys, I guess we're going to get out of here tonight. Leave it on that happy high note for sure. But
90s babies for life.
Yeah, exactly. And Trump 24.
All righty.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the comments section. Let us know what you guys think about all this. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until our next week's video, guys, we will be having a podcast next week, I believe. As long as everybody's good, I should be around for that. I'll be back from camping by then. But if you're checking this out and you're watching for some videos on my channel, it might be a little bit of a slow week on the channel because I will be off vacationing with family. So thank you for your patience there. Until next week's podcast, guys, take care. God bless.
Good night.